and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 2 of It's All Geek to Me, the pop culture chat show where three friends of varying degrees of nerd knowledge get together each week to have a chat about all things geek. Now, joining me this week are my co-hosts and two best friends. First up, we've got a brilliant impressionist and a comedian. He is absolutely awesome. Give it up, ladies and gents, for Mr. Chris Lum. Hey,
hello.
Hey, Lummy, how you doing, mate?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. You had a good week?
Oh, it was good. It was good. And then we had some exciting program watching on Friday, didn't we? But that's for later.
Oh, that's right. So, ladies and gents, those of you who watched our first show, episode 1 last week, we have moved the Mandalorian review section to the end for those of you who want to watch this show but avoid spoilers. And we will give you plenty of warning, believe me. And next up, we've got our other co-host and best friend. He is a singer. He's a songwriter. We told you last week he was an apprentice Lego master, but actually, he's a tracer. Give it up. It's Mr. Nathan Webb.
Oh, hi, guys.
Hey, Webby,
Hello,
how you
you're
doing?
right.
What's up, my ho-ho homies?
Oh, look at that. I like
Christmas.
Festive. Yeah. How was your week this week, Webby?
Absolutely awful.
Oh, brilliant. That's what we like.
Honestly, it's been a corker of a week. It's been pretty terrible, but it's only getting better from now. So, this has been the high point of my week, to be honest with you. It's been a bit of a rough one.
Well, I've got about 4 more hours of tier 3 before we dip into deepest, darkest tier 4. So, yeah. It's Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, this shit got so real, I've had to make up another made-up tier.
All right, it's reminded me a little bit of like Spinal Tap, actually. When it was like, it was going, we've got tier 4. Why don't you just make tier 3 more strict? Because it's one more.
They're trying to play the hero and let everybody have a lovely Christmas together, and then 6 days before, can we talk about that? Yeah, typical crap. But anyway, that's not geeky.
No, absolutely.
Politics show.
Well, in which case we should probably get into this week's geek news. What has been going on in the world of geek this week, gents? Webby, you were going to talk about the Marvel Studios.
Oh yeah, well to be fair, we did know about that last week, but we didn't have enough time to cover it, so we're going to throw it a little nod this week. Last week we talked about the fact that Disney did their investors meeting, and they announced that they are just going to be chucking stuff at you to keep you. Yeah, nice mug, man. Represent.
Cut you off there.
They're just going to keep throwing stuff at us to keep us stuck to our settees forever. Knowing that, I think they know something we don't about this virus. It's probably never going to go away, so they're just going to keep streaming everything.
Well, it's either that or the fact that they know that as soon as the Mandalorian finishes, everyone cancels their Disney Plus subscription. So they're trying to keeping us all subscribed to the streaming service.
So they did announce the 10 Star Wars TV shows. If you want to hear about those, tune into the last week's episode because we can't be repeating ourselves. So we were going to talk about the 10 possible Marvel TV shows they're doing, a couple of movies thrown in there. We don't have a lot of information about them as yet because they're all in pre-production. Some of them are nearly finished. I think. Yeah, there's a couple of TV shows. The newest ones on our horizon are Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Obviously,
there you go.
After the events of, spoiler alert, if nobody's seen Endgame out there, after the absence of Captain America, they need a new Captain America. So this one is going to be centered around Bucky and the Falcon. And it's going to be a TV show, probably 8 to 10 episodes a time, Lummy, you reckon?
20
episodes.
We're just going to make, because we don't know too much, we're just going to make stuff up and see what sticks.
Time. And all favorite people have so much potential for crossovers from the Marvel universe. Why not have Doctor Strange has just popped up in this episode. They can just do whatever they want. So so that's we don't have much information about what it's about really. We can wait and see. We've also got WandaVision, centered around everyone's favorite Marvel couple, Wanda and Vision. Hence the clever title. WandaVision.
It's clever.
Now, if you've seen the trailer for that one, I mean, it's a bit of a head scratcher. Doesn't give much away. It's kind of an homage to all the different eras of television in America they've had. So you've got your bit of 50s stuff, like the Honeymooners type stuff. You've got then moving into the 60s with things like Bewitched. I saw quite a few nods to different eras of TV show in there. So yeah, it looks interesting. Looks a bit wacky, bit out there. Then we've got Loki, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I think as well, Loki is going to be placed in the world of the movies. From what the trailer looks like, there's a scene where they're messing about with the briefcase coming down from Avengers Tower, and there's the whole crossover thing with S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to take the case off them. Well, in the trailer, Loki pops up in that scene again. He's in it originally in the movie, but I think he's dicking around with time, like in Back to the Future, you know, going and fixing. I don't know. Loki's a god of mischief. He can do all sorts. He's got lots and lots of special powers. Am I overselling this enough yet?
No, it's great.
Sounds good.
Actually, the Loki one is one that I'm looking forward to the most. Do we know if they're keeping the same?
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston. Yeah,
okay,
I'm looking forward to that one the least.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Wow.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
This is what you tune in for, ladies and gents.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I was looking forward to coming to America, and they've delayed it. It was supposed to be out for Christmas. Sorry.
Well, that's your Christmas down the shitter.
I know, I was really looking forward to that. I was like, yes, at least there's something to look forward to.
Really? Okay, I've got my reservations about that one myself, but
no, it's going to be good.
Yeah, that is one of the better Marvel titles coming to America. I don't know if you've ever read the original comic book.
Well, it's got them all in it. They're all in it. They're all in it.
Right. So yeah, weird sequel that nobody ever asked for, nobody ever wanted, but yeah, it's coming to America with a 2. Very clever. They get cleverer and cleverer, these Hollywood people, don't they?
And what else is
So,
coming from the Marvel Studios?
Other shows we've got Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
that's a relatively new character. A lot of people get Miss Marvel confused with Captain Marvel.
I think it's a Miss Marple.
No, I'm always another crossover entirely.
She's got her own movie coming as well to cross it over. Yeah. It's going to be amazing.
Captain Marple.
Hang on a minute, Nath. Can I just check this? You're saying Miss Marvel is not the same as Captain Marvel?
No, it's not. It's not the same.
Oh.
It's a newish character. I haven't read Miss Marvel. It's that new. I've not actually read any yet, but I do know. I'm pretty sure it's a new character. It's not Captain Marvel. A lot of people have made that mistake, but that's what you get if you just keep everybody's surname the same. Yeah, it's Dr. Marvel. It's Professor Marvel. Oh. Yeah, it's lazy writing, but she is a very, very popular character in the modern comic book world.
Yeah.
So apologies to any fans out there that were totally pissing all over the name of Miss Marvel. But yeah, Miss Marvel's coming. We've got What If. Now, What If, again, it's one of those hot head scratcher ones. It is one of those, it's What If? What if Hulk was purple instead of green? What if Doctor Strange never got through medical college? That sort of thing.
What if Captain America wasn't American?
Yeah, Captain. I can't
just
think
Captain.
of another country. Yeah, just Captain.
Captain.
Yeah. Are there any other countries?
In the world? No, just America. Just America, according to America.
What if Iron Man didn't make his suit in cave, just being there all the time?
Yes, stayed in a cave. Yeah.
Yeah. Caveman.
Yeah, it'd have been great. So yeah, I mean, they really are taking that the impetus of just being able to do whatever they want with all these properties, and they're just going to do it. They're just going to keep doing it. That's besides also extra news, which didn't make it into the announcement for the Disney investors, was that there's talk of Fantastic Four. Marvel have got the rights back from Sony, or who had them? Lummy, was it Fox or so? Fox had them.
Yeah. And then they made 3 movies.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried to keep up, didn't they, with some Marvel stuff? But yeah, so they've got properties back.
Even the logo looks better than those other movies.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I'm probably the only person out there that really liked the Josh Trank Fantastic Four. I thought it was really good.
You're the one who went to see it. Well done.
I didn't go to see it, but I do know for a fact that the guy, he made a brilliant film, and then the studio got hold of it, and they did they held a lot of it back. They edited it. They wouldn't let him release the full version, so we never actually got to see the version he wrote, he directed.
It happens really quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like really Coming to America, what they did with that first one,
It all comes back to that. Coming to America.
It's supposed to be out.
Marvel are just like, oh yeah, we've got She-Hulk coming. I don't even know if people out there, some people don't know there's a Lady Hulk. That's, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? Why not? But She-Hulk is a totally different character than Hulk. She has a when Hulk is Hulk.
Is she?
Hang on, let me explain what I'm talking about. So basically,
you better be quick.
When Hulk isn't Hulk and he's in the body of Bruce Banner, everybody knows he's one of the smartest men on the planet. He's a incredible scientist. She-Hulk, when she turns into her Hulk, she's still got the brain. She can still talk. She can still do science and type in and everything. She's a multitasker, but she's a She-Hulk.
Good.
So yeah, we got that. We've got what else we got? So let me look at
one here. Called Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, yeah. We're rumored with rumors that Oscar Isaac might be playing that, which again is testament to the fact that they could just pull these Hollywood actors into these TV shows now. I guess there's not that many movies being made, so it's a good job, really. But yeah, Oscar Isaac from Star Wars: The Force Awakens trilogy, your Poe Dameron. Excellent actor. He's a great actor, so let's hope that he.
Very good. Yeah.
Usually, you find that the people who take these roles are massive fans of the subject matter, aren't they? You know what I mean? So hopefully, he's the kind of guy, a bit like Ryan Reynolds, who was always meant to play this character. We've got Hawkeye. I mean, the excitement.
My money's on Hawkeye.
I just, I feel bad for Hawkeye.
I do.
I just feel bad for him. I mean, maybe I shouldn't. I reckon in a normal bunch of army soldiers, he's definitely the best one. But when you're sticking him next to Captain America and Hulk and Iron Man, and he's just firing different flavor arrows at people. Well, this one's got jam in it. This one's cotton candy. Yeah. It's just, it's never really sat well with me. And I think of all the Avengers, he's probably the one that sells the least amount of figures. So yeah, lots of stuff coming from Marvel. I mean, what more could you want?
We've got a couple of comments if you want to see them about your She-Hulk. Here we go.
Yeah, so you can say that. You can say I can't say anything like that.
We got Everyday Woman then, and then I like this. Here we go. Want to see Invisible Woman, where a woman gains the power of invisibility and just gets on with it.
I like it.
Nice. It's good.
You're saying about Hawkeye, you feel sorry for him. Actually, he might not be the best superhero, but actually I think what they've done with his character, they've really fleshed out a really interesting character, more so than many of the other Marvel characters.
Yeah, he's got a great arc, especially in Endgame, where, spoiler alert, where you get to know his attachment to his family and how important that is to him, and the devastation it causes to everyone around him when things don't go his way. So just to retouch what I'm talking about, in Avengers Infinity War, his family all turn into dust and disappear like the rest of them. But in the next movie, he's pissed about it and he's going to take people down. He's almost a baddie, and they have to literally pull him back into the good circle.
But do you reckon people out there have seen Endgame but not Infinity War? Do you reckon anybody's actually watched Endgame and gone, what's going on? Because they've not seen the one before. I just wonder if that does happen.
I don't know.
Because I do know people who've seen sequels and not seen the originals, and you think, I've got to go now. Because you know what I mean? It's like, why would you do that? Why would you watch City Slickers 2 without seeing City Slickers?
Yeah. I don't know. I was chatting to my mum about I don't know, about 8 months ago. And I was like, oh, so what are you doing? So she goes, oh, we've got to go now because Endgame's about to come on. And I was, sorry, what now? She was like, oh, yeah, we're watching it. I love those films. And I was like, really, Mum? You're 72. But my mum is banging to Marvel films, it turns out. It's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely awesome. Do we know from the Marvel series what platform they're going to be streaming on?
Disney Plus.
It's all going to be on Disney Plus.
Everything's on Disney Plus. Even films that are on other people's networks, they're just going to Disney Plus because they're just giving them everything. Just going, fucking put them on.
Right.
Yeah. They own everything. Disney will own this show in a minute. We'll have to we'll have to give it to them. We own everything.
Yeah.
It's stuff they don't even want. That's the worst thing. They'll go, we'll have this. How many viewers you getting? 10. We'll have it.
It is crazy. I mean, how much money one company actually needs, really, considering Walt Disney's dead and has been for some time. Spoiler alert.
I was going to say.
I'm really.
You need to say spoiler alert more, man. You've already spoiled Endgame.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait till I tell you what happens in Coming to America too. Oh, yeah.
Do you reckon if we mention it enough, they'll send us a free link to watch it before anybody else?
No.
Come on.
I don't think so.
Are there any other Marvel shows coming out?
Probably. There's probably 5 more being announced since we started the show.
Informative. That's brilliant. That's what we like.
Honestly, they're probably like, oh shit, we forgot about Aquaman. Oh no, that's DC, and it was Submariner. We forgot about Submariner.
Yeah.
There are, but not only that, there are films. There are films coming out as well, and the films are pretty big that they've announced. Black Panther 2 obviously is changing its tact since the sad passing of Chadwick Boseman, and everybody's interested to see. People think they know what they're going to do with it, but they're going to have to address it. You've got Thor 4. That's hard with the Yorkshire accent. Thor 4. Love and Thunder, which has just cast Christian Bale as its villain. And then you've got Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You've got the next Spider-Man, Ant-Man 3. I Am Groot has been announced, believe it or not, which I believe is going to be a new show. I don't know if you've got a little thing for that because I haven't even seen an advert for that one. But yeah, I Am Groot. So these are the ones they haven't released the logos for yet. Secret Invasion, which is a big plot line in the whole Marvel comic book world. That goes back some time. Ironheart and Armor Wars. I can't tell you anything about those. I have no idea. Even I have a limit to how many comics I can read. So, yeah.
If they bring out a B-Noir or a Dandy movie, I'm your man.
Yeah.
Got it covered.
So
awesome.
In other geek news this week, it's been as exciting as it has been for Star Wars fans. It's also quite a sad week for Star Wars fans because we've heard of the passing of Jeremy Bulloch, who played Boba. So, gents, thoughts on the passing of Jeremy Bulloch?
I mean, how old was he again?
I don't know, actually. We should have probably
75.
done more research, if we're going to pay our respects.
I think he was 75. I don't research stuff, I just know it.
Nice.
Just make it up, yeah.
No, he was 75. I saw in the news that he was 75. I mean, it's a sad one because Boba Fett's such an iconic character and is having such a huge resurgence at the minute, which we'll get to later. If you've already seen Mandalorian, there's no denying that you know that stuff's going on. But yeah, it's really sad. Not to mention that we lost Darth Vader last month as well. David Prowse died as well. So it's sad, but these films have been out for such a long time. Everybody's got to go sometime, I guess.
I mean, Jeremy Bulloch. I did a post on my Instagram where I put a picture up. Because I did my obviously I met him when I did Russell Howard's Good News and I did my Star Wars impressions on the show, and I hung out with him in the dressing room. Actually, we're back there, and he's telling me all Star Wars stories. A lovely guy, and he loved it. He loved Star Wars. Just talking about it all. And they were in a few Bond films and some old naughty British films. Actually, some old.
Confessions of a Window Cleaner.
Things like that. Yeah, exactly like that. But these people were jobbing actors, were in the Star Wars movie. To him, it was another role. He just went. I went in, tried the costume on, and it fit. And there we go. I'm in it. And he played one of the Imperial officers as well in Empire Strikes Back. And then I think you were in were he in episode 3 as well as a pilot or something? So, you know, it's
they do tend to try and link people in, don't they? You know, once you're in the Star Wars door, you can be drawn into any of the movies or TV shows at any point if you're lucky. It's sad. I guess more so sad that he's so well known for one thing, and you know, he probably I don't know what else he's done as an actor. Did he give you any juicy stories in the green room?
He just told me. I mean, I think he has his standard stories that he tells at conventions and that. And and I talked to him about the show. Obviously, we were going to do, and I said, you know, what we're doing on here. And he said, I'm asking questions. But I said to the producer, I said, how good a fan of Star Wars is Russell Howard? Because everybody knows who Jeremy Bulloch is. If you're a fan, I said he'll just take one look at him if he's a massive fan and go, it's Boba Fett, yeah. And they got really pissed off that I'd said that. These two producers. Well, like, I fucking know who he is if he walked out and I saw him. So, oh well. But then they got on with it. So I don't know if he just went.
Keep your mouth shut when you get a job like that, Lummy.
I instantly regretted it.
Russell Howard every week.
Yeah, but he was good. And I'll tell you this, I don't usually ask like selfies and all that. And when you go to conventions and things, I think I don't want selfies or autographs with people. I'm not bothered about that side of it. But when I was with him and we were having a chat, I thought, I will get a selfie. And I was glad I did in the end because it was a professional job and, you know, we were both there to do it, you know. But there was some Star Wars cosplayers on the same show and they all got cut out.
Wow.
Which was, yeah, but I can put it, I've got the four-wheel. Let me just put it.
I'm going to say, chuck up. Oh, there you go.
Look at that fatness around my belly. But the lass at the side there, she's one of the Star Wars cosplayers. And she
you've never seen her on TV because she got cut out.
Cut them out, so I could have easily got cut.
I mean, you nearly had a cut out of this picture.
Yeah. Where am I? Oh, there I am.
Yeah. So that was nice. But no, we're a lovely guy, you know.
It was Boba Fett is an icon. Let's face it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get to something to do with that later on. It's probably worth mentioning to the viewers if anybody's watching that. You know, we've got a couple of bits of tidbits about Boba Fett coming. So yeah, it's quite cathartic that you know that his character's been resurrected recently, and you know it's sweet. But yeah.
And also the you know my subject that we're going to talk about tonight is a bit of a weird one because I picked that last week and then you hear that news and you think, wow, that's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it, with things? But
it's also a little
kind of getting up without trying to spoil your bit that's coming.
It's also the fact that last week Nathan also predicted that Boba Fett might die in the next episode of Mandalorian.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Get into your cameras.
Yeah, sorry, I apologise. 1 sec. You guys talk about yourselves.
How we can handle this? Should we do a little?
We can hear you. You don't have to stop talking. You know.
Not yet.
Can hear you. What would you do, Webb, if mine goes as well now?
I'm panicking now. Now Gittins has gone. I'm panicking.
He's disappeared. They've took him.
There we go. Yeah. Sorry about that, ladies and gents.
Right.
I thought you'd been rich napped.
Also, yeah, that's right. My uncle Liam Neeson's going to come and come and show us. All right. So, also in Geek news, little correction. Last week I talked about the new DLC for Fallout 76, and I promised Nathan that there would be increased stash capacity and there'd be new categories in your Pip-Boy. Actually, that's coming out in a January update. So apologies, ladies and gents, for anybody who was excitedly waiting to fill up their new stash capacity this week.
You screwed that up, Gittins.
Yeah, but there is a new scoreboard. There is a new scoreboard coming out this week, and there is the Holiday Scorched special where you get these little scorched characters dressed in Santa outfits and they give you a little prize. So
can we have a new policy where we don't apologise for any mistakes on this show? Because it's going to be full of them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've already claimed that people are in Marvel films that they're not in. Do I have to apologise for that next time?
I told everybody Boba Fett were going to die like 4 days before he really died. That's awful. I'm feeling really bad.
You were adamant about that, so maybe you did have a bit of a
wrong. But I have the wrong end of the stick. I'm new to this Force business. I don't know.
Maybe we should cancel any future predictions section.
Forget that. We got a couple of comments. Mr. Dan Moore didn't watch Endgame.
Good point, yeah. This is where they get you. They get you by the nuts because you've got to keep watching. You've got to watch everything just in case you miss it. If you'd have seen Spider-Man Homecoming, you know what happens to Tony Stark. So, as you probably will do if you've watched this show.
CGI baby fat. That Yoda money is running low.
Baby fat. I like it.
Baby fat, yeah.
Can you imagine the little teddies? That'd be amazing. A little baby fat teddy.
I just want to say just a quick couple of things about Santa hats. Number one, I'm realizing why Santa wears one in this weather because, good Lord, they keep you warm. I'm so hot. But the other thing is, I'm noticing a huge disparity in the quality of hat.
Oh, don't I was going to mention that. Yeah.
Mine looks like I've just sewn it together myself before I started. Lummy's looks like he's nicked it off Santa.
Yeah.
I always go for I don't piss about with Santa hats, me. You know me, guys.
Yeah,
It's got to be a proper one. None of that. Oh, I got this and it were in a bag off a shelf for $3.50. No way.
Oh, no,
I didn't even know we had one.
Mine was £1.50 at Poundland, so there you go.
No Poundland for me. No, I go for the full brim.
So, any more geek news, gents? Anything else that you want to mention this week that may have happened in the world of geek?
Did I want to ask you? Did you hear anything? This is probably for Nath. Did you hear anything about Indiana Jones? Has anything been announced?
Yeah, I told you that were coming, didn't I? Do you remember me saying last week that
you said in a few days we might hear something? Yeah.
Yeah, and then we did. At number 5, the last one in the Harrison Ford run of. Oh, do you know? I say it with a heavy heart, really, because I don't have any belief that it's going to be good. Yeah, they're talking about the last one, Indiana Jones 5. It's the last one Harrison Ford wants to be involved with, and then they'll reboot it. I think the TV show's coming out next week, so we should be all right.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Indiana Jones cartoon series. They should do it. But Disney won't want Nazis on Disney Plus. That's the only trouble. They'll have to have a different enemy. There was actually, I've got a bit of something for you. The old series of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I loved it.
They edited it down to put on Disney Plus. Great series. I used to love it when I was a kid. My favorite Spider-Man show. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero anyway. But that show, there's an episode with a load of Nazi symbols and stuff, and they removed it obviously from Disney Plus. They couldn't put that on it. So if you want it, I've got a copy.
What's Disney's problem with Nazis?
Same as everybody else who into Nazi.
Get over it.
Don't like them.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean they've got, but it's funny because what was I watching the other day that they've cut Home Alone's on there, and the cuts. I can't remember what they've cut out of it. It wasn't even that bad to me because I've seen the film so many times.
Is it the bit where Kevin's goose stepping down the sidewalk?
That's the bit, yeah. Where he does his hair in the side parting and he's got the comb.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. They cut something out of it. It's probably a minor swear word, but I did not. It pricked my ears up. I thought it's supposed to say balls there. He didn't say. I don't know what it's. But yeah, they've cut it slightly, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. I remember seeing Lethal Weapon in early 90s on ITV. Wow. Yeah. And I remember
I'm a real fiery cop. I've got a real fiery gun.
That's it. I'm a real cop. This is a real badge, and this is a real firing gun. I mean, to be fair, that's quite clever, actually.
It's amazing.
It's better than the.
It rigs. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Christmas movie. Lethal Weapon Christmas movie. Controversial.
Yeah, no, nothing controversial about it at all. I'd like to point out, actually, I just want to say this is my Christmas T-shirt. See if you can guess what Christmas film this is from, ladies and gents. And keep commenting as well, ladies and gents. We want to hear.
I've got an easy one on this week. I've got my special Star Wars Christmas jumper, which I think is just the bee's knees. I've doubled up on the geekery.
Jesus, you've gone full geek.
Yes. Once you go full geek, there's no turning back. Nice. So yeah, again.
Thanks, Sam. That's really lovely. Thank you very, very much.
What about us two chumps?
Do you mean smooth like hairless?
Oh, that is the point. Yeah, I mean, you can't. Yeah, I could be bald under here, apart from this just a tiny bit of hair. That's the only bit of hair that I have on my head.
I know what the T-shirt is that Rich has got on because I got him it.
Yeah,
It took you quite a while to figure out what it was from. Even though this isn't a spoiler, you've seen the movie a fair few times. Most of you have probably seen it a fair few times.
I watched it last week, actually. Anyway, that's enough for our Geek News for this week. This is the section of the show where we each bring a segment to the table. And up first this week with his festive selection is Mr. Lom. Chris, what have you got for us this week?
Right then, so I dug deep for this week, and I wanted to give us something festive, and I came up with the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, I managed to get a copy of it. I've had this for a while. We once watched this. I used to work at Forbidden Planet in Leeds, and we once got a copy of this on VHS. We don't know how. People used to bring stuff in all the time. It was weird like that, comic shop. It's
the day before Pirate Bay, man. Before the internet. Like, you really had to look for this stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember when you got it because you told me about it, and I ended up watching it. You lent it to me, and I watched it.
Yeah.
So that was a.
So, I mean, people, it's a legendary thing, this. So people probably are aware of it. You know, anybody watching will know what it is. 1978, they brought out a holiday special, basically, just after Star Wars, the film. And it's absolutely terrible, most of it. There's a few redeeming things in it, but what I've done, I've got some images from it, and I'm going to go through it, and I've wrote down a little synopsis. Just interrupt me if you want. I'll just go for it, because it's going to... I've got extensive notes. Right then, so here we go. Title page. There you go. I mean, that straight away is done on VHS graphics. You know, them old graphics you could do back in the day where you had a little editor and you put up the terrible TV graphics, that kind of thing. So starts off nice and easy. Loads of stock footage from the movie Star Wars. It looks amazing. Millennium Falcon flies in. Han and Chewie. They're in it. All the main cast are in it. I mean, bless them. Han and Chewie chased by Star Destroyers. Han promises to get Chewie home for Life Day. So this is Chewie's big celebration that he has at home. He's got a wife called... Say again.
Wookiee Christmas, basically.
Wookiee Christmas, yeah. He's got a wife called Marla. He's got... His dad's called Itchy. And he's got a son called Lumpy. Right, so... we cut to the Wookiee home planet, Kashyyyk, I believe it's called. Comment.
It is. Actually, I'd like to come in a second there because listening to all the Wookiees, I mean, it was like do you remember Harry and the Hendersons? Was that Yeah, it was kind of like a weird sitcom sort of version. It was
poor.
Those scenes in the Wookiee home, but I said to Nathan earlier on that while I was listening to it, I kept thinking that one of the Wookiees sounded like... I just assumed that it was going to be voiced by the same person who voiced Uni in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
So I went and had a little Google. Yeah. So I went and had a little Google. Turns out I'm completely wrong. However, the person who did voice Uni in Dungeons and Dragons is a chap called Frank Welker, and he did voice Chewbacca in the Star Wars Lego.
I know his name. His name is a voice artist. Yeah, he's relatively famous. Can I also just say my little chip into your Star Wars special? Right, I've seen it before, but I didn't watch it again this time, so I ran out of time. But I did watch the first 25 minutes. But for the first 8 minutes, apart from the little scene with Han and Chewie, nobody speaks. It's just Wookiee speak for 8 minutes.
That's what's wrong with the whole thing. This is what I mean. The thing is way too long. It's an hour and 50 hours.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
And they don't say anything. So I'll go through. So basically, it cuts to the Kashyyyk. The family's in there. You meet them all. And the first thing that happens is the little Wookiee, Lumpy, runs down the stairs playing with a wooden X-Wing fighter. And the granddad there, the Chewie's dad, tells him to piss off, basically.
Itchy.
Itchy. He goes, fuck off, I'm busy carving X-Wings. And then he goes to the kitchen. She's there in an apron. And she tells him to put the bins out. She's like, so they've had enough of him straight away. So the opening of the special, they've had enough of this kid straight away. They're like, fuck off. We've had enough.
I had to be fair.
Yeah. So he goes outside and he does the most dangerous thing in the film, which he walks along this balcony outside.
That was the one point of high suspense, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's it. That's the most dramatic thing that happens in the entire movie.
Did they use the same set designers from the Muppet Show by any chance? Because I know that they were kind of in that wheelhouse, weren't they? Both filmed in Britain.
the art there, that artwork on the views, they didn't even bother doing a new painting. That's a concept art from Ralph McQuarrie, who did all the early Star Wars stuff, Star Wars Empire and Jedi. So they just grabbed his concept art and just went, film that, fuck it.
Yeah.
Forget doing a matte painting.
The whole thing smacks of laziness, doesn't it, all the way through, pretty much.
I mean, there's so much to it. Right, so back inside, I'll go through the thing and you can just add to it as we go. Marla looks at a Chewie pick. They're all missing him. They're like, where is he? He should be here by now. Big emotional scene, that. I mean, it had me straight away. Forget about your Friday night viewing for emotion. This was, this was big. It's the heart of the show. It's about family, this show. So... right, Lumpy comes back in. You're like, you should have killed him off. He should have fallen off that. Right, he comes back in and he grabs a data card and he puts it in this machine. I'll tell you what, this is ahead of its time.
Like a BBC computer.
Yeah, but all this stuff, they've got loads of things in it that is ahead of its time. Remember, this was 1978. They've got laptops, they've got video screens, they've got Zoom meetings like we're doing now. They've got all this stuff. So he watches this,
piece of ballet,
this hologram show, basically, that's a load of people dancing around. Look at his face. Well, it's dead eyes. Right. He's weird. And then Marla, she scans for any ships in the area. She wants to know where Chewie is. Like, is there anything? Comes up zeros, not coming in. So she contacts our old friend Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. There he is. With
that
suit.
scene was awful.
Good Lord.
The show is bad, but
how bad did it look at that? It looks. I can't say anything because we're bringing it up later, but it looks.
No, we're not.
That's
a photograph. That's not a painting. He looks drugged out of his mind. He's got a really weird.
They all do.
It seriously looks like he's got like thick eyeliner on too. It's really weird, and it looks like that throughout the whole thing that he does. Is so weird.
I mean, the thing is as well. She rings him. He's supposed to be like the hero in here. He's sorted out. She rings him and goes, "Ann and Chewie out here. I don't know what's happened." Basically, but she's talking in Wookiee. And he goes, "He don't do all." He just goes, "Well, I'm sure they'll be back later." Anyway.
Don't worry about it. He's never missed a life day. He's never missed one.
It's the repeated gag of where he's working on something and he's chatting away to the Wookiees, and R2-D2 is just going, and he's like, "Hey, God, just get out of the way, R2." I can't see him having a conversation, and then suddenly the thing he's been working on starts smoking, and he turns around and he's like, "R2, you were supposed to be watching that," and they tell the same gag twice, and all it does is make you think Luke Skywalker's a dick, man.
Yeah.
Do that to your main character. Yeah.
I could catch an Ewok
showing up to the set and going, "So what have we got to work with?" Well, we got this one tube that fires smoke. Well, is that all? I've just done like Star Wars. Yeah, that's all we've got. But don't worry, I've got a plan. And they just keep using the same smoke. Yeah, it's really awful. That's where I tuned out, man.
But it's also the fact that, that fans of the Batman computer games and things like that will know that, Mark Hamill is a brilliantly versatile actor. The work that he's done in the Joker, the character, the acting is just incredible. But
now he is.
Oh Christ! Yeah, okay, but you look at Han Solo in a scene that's going to be coming up in a moment, and he's actually given it some welly in the acting stakes, considering what he's working with. There was a couple of,
Harrison Ford's the best person in this. Let's not.
Yeah, and he never hid his disdain for doing this either. He knew it was he was contractually obliged to go do this shitty holiday special, and you can't tell.
But that's kind of the point. I expected him to be sending it up more than any of the others because because it's got integrity. Yeah.
Kind of what
right then. So after he's in there with R2, Marla then rings a trading post up where
oh God.
I mean, these Imperial offices, they're all terrible in this thing as well. There's so many of them that he's in this trading post.
I never saw his mouth move. I think they dubbed his voice with an evil sounding voice, because you never see. You always see the back of his head and the guy in the giant black helmet there. You never actually see his voice move, and the voice don't fit the face at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really weird.
So I mean, they say about a pocket aquarium, and the guard goes, "I don't want one of them." He's like, "Right, dick," and he says he's off duty as well, which is a bit weird. It's like, what? And then he says he's got Marla's ordered a carpet, so there's actually the attempt at a joke here with it. He goes, "It's been made hand solo." He actually says that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? Come back, mama joke out of The Last Jedi. All is forgiven, because that's like, oh, I was just like, no. Anyway, we cut to actually, if this is canon, you learn a lot about the Imperials in this, because the guy says, "I've got this device and it recites all 17 volumes of the Imperial Penal Code." I'm like, it's pretty good info. You know.
Yeah, but he also then says it cleans your ears and it can clean your armor and it brushes. What is this thing? It's like a cosmic Swiss pocket. What they call Swiss Army knife.
It's like it was invented by the kid's dad in Gremlins. He didn't translate it out.
The bath buddy. Bath buddy. So anyway, the Imperial takes the thing anyway and don't pay for it because I'm not paying for it. And then the shopkeeper's like, "What? You're off duty? You can't just come in here and anyway."
No, he's like, I didn't want to insult you. I didn't want to insult you.
Yeah, he goes, "I was going to give it to you as a gift anyway because I'm totally scared."
Crap. I mean,
it's bad.
It's crap later as well.
Tuned out.
Yeah, it's terrible. Right, so then it goes back to footage from. I mean, we see Vader then, voiced by James Earl Jones again. Nice.
Mr. Bronson there as well, isn't it?
It's not Mr. Bronson. It's Johnny Briggs' dad.
That's
remember
the guy. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Bronson were in Empire Strikes Back, not this one.
Good God, we got some deep cuts, man.
Michael Sheard, his name is. I've got some of his Mr. Bronson from Empire. If anybody's watching like Star Wars, like fan convention trivia, Michael Sheard brought out 3 fan books where he talks about going to conventions. They are absolutely hilarious. They're brilliant. So
I got a friend who met him actually when I was at university, and he just went up to him at the convention and was like, "Can you tell me to sit down, you stupid boy?" And he said, "Sit down, you stupid boy." And those of you who don't know, those of you who aren't familiar with British Kids TV, he was a really horrible teacher in a TV show called Grange Hill in the 80s. Yeah.
And I remember seeing something about him where he was talking about his death scene in, spoiler alert again, death scene in Empire Strikes Back, and he said that after he filmed it, George Lucas said it was the best death scene he'd ever seen. So the next time I watched Empire Strike Back, I were expecting something bigger than what I'd seen already, what I knew, and I'm watching it and I'm going, Jesus Christ, George Lucas has got some low expectations.
Yeah. Let's not forget George Lucas made the holiday special. So
no, that's wrong. He didn't endorse this at all. He just
did he not?
He didn't
really?
He
that's
hated
why
it.
He never released it, Rich.
Yeah, but I thought that was the point, that he'd kind of just been itching to get sort of kid-friendly content out there, like Jar Jar Binks.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to jump the gun. I mean, I don't know how much you've got to go. Do you want to carry on, Lum? Because I don't want to jump in front here.
We'll never get to the end of it.
Sorry.
Right then.
Longer, we're like 30 minutes in.
Right. Okay. Right then. So Vader and that, he's walking down the thing where I said there, the officer, and they basically say they're going to put a blockade. They're going to they're looking for the rebels. Basically, they're going to use a load of blockades and stuff. Which Phantom Menace not there, isn't there? I mean, he had that plan all along. Anyway, it goes back to the Wookiees and Marla. After the little one finished washing up for no reason.
My God!
Can I just say, right? Half of this stuff, if you cut it down, it wouldn't be so bad. But the takes are so long, and there's so much crap in it that's so long-winded. Like this is a pure example. She watches a cooking show. It takes her 10 minutes to turn the TV on to watch it. She puts her apron on again or whatever. And before that, the kid's washing up. He finishes and puts his rag down. It's stuff like that. There's no subtitles. They're all just going like Wookiees do. So she watches this. This is Harvey Korman, character comedian. You'll see him in shows, Mel Brooks stuff and all that. He plays about 3 characters in the whole thing. So he's obviously, and he's trying his best, bless him. And this is his first character. He does like a cooking show. And it's awful. I did like the fact that 2 hands came in halfway through, though, as you can see on the picture, and joined it.
That was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that.
It was
a plot twist.
Speaking of surprise, it was Bantha surprise what he was making.
That's true.
And the funny thing is, she says, use the Bantha loin. It's a tasty.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Oh, you can make a holiday favorite, which is Bantha rump,
which feeds more of the family, right?"
Yeah. Everybody has a bit of rump to go around.
No.
So right then, and then I was more worried about how much she would going over the cooking pot with Marla, and all this Wookiee hair is going to be in your teeth. I mean, it were awful. She's got an apron on, but nothing. There's no,
Surely the point of having 4 arms as a chef is to cook quicker as well. Like, I'm guessing it doesn't take her any quicker.
And she even chastises one of the ants. She goes, "Not yet," and like she's trying to put some in. She goes, "Not yet." So it's like she can't even control her own arms. Your Honor.
I did wonder when I was watching that whether that was a genuine mistake in the person working the other arms, and it was just an ad lib that he added in.
The whole thing feels a little late 70s Muppet show to me. I'm sure they got some people from the production team from Muppets because the style's the same, the jokes are kind of the same, but Muppet Show's good.
Yeah. Carry on, Chris.
Back to the Millennium Falcon. We cut to then the blowing up TIE fighters. It's all stock footage from the episode 4, basically.
This is the good acting. This is the really good acting from Harrison Ford.
It's good. He keeps the funny thing. When he's doing, then every time it cuts back to him, he keeps kind of keeping his head down like that. I'm thinking he's not making eye contact with anybody on the crew or anything here. He's just like, let's get on with it. Fuck it, we're done. How many scenes have I got? 3.
I've got to get through this without laughing.
Yeah, get through it. He does say he loses power in the remote cannon, so and he has to go do it manually. So so again, Star Wars in canon, I
love how you're kind of dissing it, but kind of bigging it up at the same time. Like, you really have thought about all the tiny little trivial bits that you like.
I watched this bastard thing twice. I've had to watch it twice. Oh, anyway, right, back to the Wookiees. This is why I want to get through all this, because I've actually I put some effort in here. Right, back to the Wookiees. Imperial officer comes up on a view screen. I've got an image here. Right, so he comes up, and this is what I'm talking about. They're ahead of the game here with all this stuff. But he doesn't say Kashyyyk. He says Kazook.
Oh.
And I watched it back, and I'm like, he didn't. And it's like, so they don't care about pronouncing stuff properly. So whoever's filming it, like, I don't know what it says.
It just sounds like they were all really stoned and just thought, what did he say? It doesn't matter. Just leave it in.
But he says they've set up a blockade around the planet now, so tension's mounting. It's high stakes, guys here. And then there's a knock at the door, and the shopkeeper comes in, and he brings them all gifts. And one of the gifts he says he's brought a proton pack for one of them, and I'm like, because you're getting 76, like Ghostbusters was not around. Proton pack, but then you find out it's like a little pack thing. It's just a battery pack. He says he made it through the patrol, so Chewie and Anne will, this shopkeeper says. And he's brought them all gifts, and then he asks Marla for a kiss, which is a bit weird because it goes on again like everything. Bit too long. Takes ages to get a kiss off her.
It's like there was no script written. It was just a rough outline of a scene, and they were told to just go and play. Just go and ad lib and don't edit anything out in post production.
They needed 90 odd minutes, didn't they? We adverts slapped in after. They had to get it all in, and this is a real good example. The next scene of how something should have just been absolutely cut. Right, you go up to Lumpy's bedroom, and he takes 20 minutes to open this box and tip the contents out. And he's really careful. He gets this like monitor thing out. It's a transmitter, we find out later. He puts it on the ground, and then the rest of the box, he just tips up, and all this shit goes everywhere. So it's really bad. And right, then what happens? It's terrible. But he's delighted. The little lad's delighted with what he's got. He's like, I wanted that. It's amazing. Fucking delighted with it. Back in the living room, right? This is where things get really weird now. You think it's weird so far. The guy, the shopkeeper, gives the uncle or the granddad, whoever, Itchy, gives him a data card thing, and he says, I brought something for you. And he says, this is what he actually says. He says, it's wow. It's wow. You'll like this. So it gives him, basically, it's porn. He gives this Itchy guy porn. And he puts it like this hairdryer thing on his head. And he starts watching this thing. And all it is, it's basically, he's basically having virtual sex with this lady here, Diane Carroll. She's singing, and she's like, all this music's like coming onto him, all these lyrics are like coming onto him, and he keeps coming back to him. And he's going, oh yeah. And you're like, this is weird, very weird. He's knocking one out. Yeah, he has a happy ending. Then we move on. So then, no, it's not. There's nothing family friendly about this. Then we cut to, here we go, more main cast. We've got Leia and C-3PO. And it starts off this. I didn't get a screen grab, but I should have. It looks like they're doing the Rebels accounts when the scene starts. They're both just stood there. And again, the take is so long. You're like, know what's happening? And they're just like doing a bit of admin. It's weird. It's so weird. Carrie Fisher looks like she's absolutely. I don't know if it's because it's TV.
I mean, I know she had a propensity for the chemicals, but I think it's just really bad makeup and lighting because everybody looks like that.
Everybody looks like that.
No, Mark Hamill want a druggie.
No, they all look like that. It's TV in it. They've not put the money in. Basically.
I mean, C-3PO looks wired in that shot.
Yeah. His eye, look at those eyes. He's got his own cocaine eyes.
Pupils are tiny.
Yeah, pupils like piss holes in the snow there.
I mean, even the costumes, they're using the B costumes for all these people out there. It's not like they've... we'll get to that later, though, with Cantina. Jesus. Right, okay, so Marla rings Carrie Fisher and, Princess Leia, and she'll always be a princess to me. Princess Leia and C-3PO up, and says, again, I'm upset, I don't know where Chewie and Anna are. You know, I'm concerned about this. Again, don't give a fuck. She goes, they'll be here later. Don't worry about it. Not going to help you. But in between all that, there's a really awkward thing where she keeps speaking Wookiee. C-3PO starts translating. Leia tells him off, and then she has to ask him to translate again. So the whole scene takes about 20 minutes when it could have been a quick. Yeah, it's like, it's awful. Right. Forget that. It's taking longer than this. Right. So she speaks to the shopkeeper who's still there in the house, speaks to him. Are you all right? Looking after him a bit, blah, 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 blah. We go back to the Falcon. Chewie and Han have a really nice moment. Again, nice bits in here somewhere. They have a bit in the moment. He promises to get him back to Life Day again. They actually get to the planet, and he says it will land on the north side due to less Imperial traffic there. Lumpy senses the ship as well. Lad, there's a big shot of him, like really close up, and I thought, he's force sensitive.
It's got the force.
It's got the force. But then it turns out, at the scene after, I was like, where am I going with this? It's got force sensitive. He's going to have a Jedi here, a Wookiee Jedi. And it's like, afterwards, they all hear it. And they think it's the Falcon, but bit of a twist, like Last Jedi here, because they don't hear the Falcon, they hear an Imperial ship. And then stormtroopers come in.
Yeah, they open the door, don't they, expecting it to be Chewie, and then these two stormtroopers.
Two stormtroopers and two Imperial officers. Now here, right, if you're a bit of a fan from the old action figures, there was a Death Star commander. Now, they've got this Death Star commander in a load of these scenes, and this is set after the Death Star blew up. So you think, why have you still got that uniform on? You know, that's just for the fans who think.
Maybe he had a holiday or something.
Yeah.
That day, he was just really lucky,
Yeah, lucky day. Yeah, it might have been day after. We don't know. There's no sense of any time in this thing either. You don't know how long it's taking place after. They've also got the original costumes on, so they've obviously not had a wardrobe change. Right then, so he might be force sensitive. No, they go to the door. Then they come in, search the home up. So troopers are going around. Lumpy bites the Death Star commander on his hand because he goes near him, touches him. And he goes, "Oh, you scumbags, you Wookiees!" You're like, "Whoa, steady on. That's not
racist.
Cool. That's racist. Yeah. Then, bizarrely, another thing just to waste some time. The Death Squad commander, the shopkeeper, gives him a thing to watch, and it's a Jefferson Starship music video.
Yeah, that's really.
What song is it?
Oh, I didn't. I skipped it. Even I skipped this bit. See what I just thought. No.
It was really weird, Webby.
It sounds like a whole big bag of suck, and I've got an awful feeling you're not even fucking halfway through it yet.
I am. I'm getting there. We're motoring on. I'm getting through it.
He's 50 minutes in because this is the point where I fell asleep.
Yeah. Lord. Right now we come to the only redeeming thing other than Harrison Ford's performance in the whole thing.
Right after I fell asleep. Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, this right. So this is where the Lumpy watches a cartoon. right? It's never explained why it's cartoon form or anything like that, but it's the best thing in it. There's a cartoon.
No, I did see this. This was actually,
right.
Yeah, this was brilliant. This was
right.
Really
it's all
good.
voiced by the original actors, and it's where we get to see Boba Fett for the first time ever. If you're watching this in 78, there he is, comes in, he's acts all pally with them all.
Can we just mention as well that gun that he's holding there is the gun they tried to give it the Mandalorian?
Yeah,
in the new show. And also, from what I remember, the whole reason this exists as a thing, the holiday special, is because Lucas was like, "Blimey, we're selling a lot of toys after this Star Wars shit. We need some more toys." And they told him about the idea of Boba Fett, but it wasn't coming till the second movie, so they needed an excuse to get that toy on the shelf. Is that right? Am I right there?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
So the whole thing was the whole holiday special is just to try and shoehorn another figure onto the shelves.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's, I don't know if anybody who's watching seen the old Ewoks and Droids cartoons as well. Same style of animation. They were quite good, them shows, back in the day.
I hate style of animation. That's one thing that put me off. I've always hated. That's why I never liked Droids and Ewoks. I always thought it was something. I don't know, something that took me out of Star Wars.
So, I mean, the plot is they're after this talisman basically, and Luke. Princess Leia's in. I only got a few screen grabs of this, but Princess Leia's there, and Luke, and they get a communication from Chewie on the Falcon, and Han Solo's hung upside down. I've got a shot here from later where they're both upside down. But basically, there's this talisman's causing poisoning of humans. Basically, that's what they say. So Luke goes to save him, and he ends up upside down as well. So Boba Fett.
They keep them upside down in order to preserve them because
the blood rushes to the head of someone. Yeah. So that's explained. So Boba Fett says, "I'm going to go get the antidote for this virus," and he goes to the city that they're on the planet they're on. I can't remember the name of the planet. Chewie goes with him because he don't trust him, and then you see Boba Fett communicate with Darth Vader. And you're like, shit, he's a bad guy. And he says the plan's working. And then they go back to the ship. Boba Fett gets the virus antidote. They go back to the ship. And then that's it. C-3PO interrupts the communication and finds the Vader message. So he tells Luke about it. And then you expect a big showdown. Nothing happens. Boba Fett just flies out of there. But he flies out of the Millennium Falcon. And I was like, he flies out of the hatch that they use when in Empire Strikes Back, when Billy D. Williams saves
love that.
You love that hatch. I always wanted that hatch. I told you last week, my Millennium Falcon, I made my own.
No. Yeah,
I ripped that sucker off. I want that hatch.
We saw the Willie Burns.
Yeah.
The Willie Marks.
Anyway.
Willie Marks?
No, that wasn't that. So it ends with them. Basically, the old cast there on the way back. And they go, and Luke says to Chewie, he says, "How did you know Boba Fett were
Can you just leave evil? That picture up a second, right? Because I just want everybody in the audience to know that picture is why I never watched them. It looks awful, even in a still.
C-3PO were all right. Anyway, so basically he says, how did you know Boba Fett were a bad guy, Chewie? And he goes, I could smell him. And then they all have a big laugh, and it cuts back to the dismal rest of this other show that they're in. Right, so back to the holiday special. Okay. I've skipped over that were longer, by the way, that cartoon thing. I've skipped it, so you're lucky. Right.
I feel like I'm watching it.
The Imperials trash Lumpy's room. They kick the fuck out of this place as well. Yeah. They do not mess about. This is hard hitting. If you want to see Empire at their might, you watch that scene because they're knocking shit off shelves. The trooper as well. It's really funny. This guy at the back. Look at this guy. Right, the trooper. He starts off like really tame. If you watch it, and then he just starts bringing the fuck out of all the stuff off the shelves. It's really funny. Anyway, so that's good. I laughed at that. And there's a banther teddy bear at the front of the room here. Now the Imperial, him in the black outfit there, he walks to the front. It's like prominent, this banther. I don't know if you could see it on these bad images. Banther toy. He goes up to it and rips its head off. Just rips its head off. Right, because they're looking for anything that might be linked to rebels. So he just rips it off. And then Lumpy. Let me think about it.
What are they expecting to find? What are they looking for?
Web transmissions.
Drugs, rebel drugs.
I thought they might be looking for that little piece of map that Luke left behind. Oh, they were sticking some kid's teddy bear in his fucking room. We'll never find it there.
I mean, this is some massive foreshadowing. If that was what amazing.
There's so many things that get left behind in the Star Wars, as we know from Episode 9 with that dagger. It could be a Sith dagger in there, Webb. You know, don't knock it. Yeah. Family entertainment, this show. Right, so the trash his room, kick fuck out of it. Then they go back downstairs. So we haven't found anything. Then the little Wookiee goes back up and he starts building his transmitter thing. And he puts this instructional video on with Harvey Korman's second character of 3, right? And he's explaining, this is the worst thing in the whole thing even, right? Because this computer character he's got on the screen, he starts breaking down mid-sentence. So again, something that could have been a couple of minutes long is 20 minutes. Again, you know, I'm saying 20 minutes, probably more like 10, but it's awful. And then, so he explains how to build the transmitter. Lumpy makes the transmitter. And then, for no reason whatsoever, we cut to a documentary on life on Tatooine that the Imperials start watching, who are still in the thing. So B. Arthur from Golden Girls and Harvey Korman with his third and final character there. They're in the cantina on Tatooine. You see a load of stock footage from Episode 4. He's trying to get romantic with her. She's having none of it, basically. He drinks.
Put the photo up again.
Sorry, yeah.
Probably her fault for leaving her jugs out. Oh, see what I said?
Well, that's
jug in the background.
That jug in the background gets used. She pours that into his head. He drinks through the top of his head. He's got a hole in his head. Weird. So just when you think things can't get any weirder. Then after that, he goes in there for a bit. They cut back. Now, this is quite prominent to what's going on in the world because this Imperial officer, he tells everybody they're all on lockdown, basically. And he tells everybody the bar's got a shut. The pub's got a shut. The cantina has to shut. Curfew.
Oh my God. Life day's cancelled with a week's notice.
Yeah. Yeah. So 9:30, pub's got a shut. Cantina's closed. Right. So it goes back to the cantina. And she decides, I'm going to get everybody out. They're not listening to, like, we're not leaving cantina. Forget your curfew and all that. She goes, you've got to go. We've got a show. Then she decides to sing a song. And by God, it fucking works. They all go. It's terrible. And she sings it to the theme of the... It's like to that.
But is that like the only popular song in the galaxy, do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, the guys that wrote that, they just coasted off it?
Creaming it in. It is a great song.
The modal nodes, the Cantina band, that's what they call that, the modal nodes.
What they're called? Wow, good pull there. Yeah. The modal
we've got a couple of comments, we'll come back to them. Yeah. Well, anyway, sorry. Right, we'll keep going. I'll get to the end of this, I swear. Right, jug in his head, all that business. I noticed the guy, actually, he's wearing Jedi robes, this guy, and I was like, is he a Jedi? No, he's not a Jedi. He's not a Jedi. Uncle Owen has Jedi robes. Nobody ever discusses it again. Anyway, right then. Imperial robes. You what?
I mean, I'm assuming there's limited clothing manufacturers in the galaxy. Like, they're just churning out robes. Doesn't matter whether you're a Jedi or not. I mean, do you think Uncle Owen walks through Tatooine and people stop him on the street and go, "Hey man, are you a Jedi? You've got like their robes on." Like, no.
Like, oh, come on, no. Maybe even here's one for you. Maybe even in the Star Wars universe, they have cosplayers.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Think about that. Anyway, I've took way too long doing this. Imperial officer, place curfew. We've done all that. Cantina banter thing. It doesn't matter, does it? We can cut it. Lumpy sends an Imperial message. Now here is actually a bit of plot for you, because I didn't think this thing had one at all. Lumpy builds a transmitter and sends an Imperial message saying, get back to your posts, everybody. We need everybody back to the base. You know, everything's all right. They all go, but they'll leave one stormtrooper there. And this is where things get serious. You know, Han Solo and Chewie turn back up, right? I should have got an image of this. I can't believe I didn't. The trooper basically chases Lumpy out of the Wookiee hut, and he ends up falling off the balcony when Han and Chewie get there to his death. So they don't even shoot him, just falls off the balcony after a bit of fumbling with his gun, you know, like Charlie Chaplin and that with bowler hats and things where they're kicking it about trying to grab it. It's like that, and you're like, this is shit. Anyway, so Han and Chewie turn up. Harrison Ford cuddles the little one and says, "You're all right, sweetheart. You're all right now," and all that business. They go back in.
Does Han Solo actually say sweetheart?
Yeah, he does. Yes, it's sweetheart. You're right. But he says it with such conviction that I believed it. You know, he knows this Wookiee family. They've had years of history. It's like his own family, Rich. You know, it's special. Right then, so then they go in. He says hello to them all, and then he says, "I've got to go back to Falcon. Check it's all right. I'll leave you to it, Chewie." So he stays there with the family. Then on the way out, you get one of the most touching Star Wars scenes I've ever seen in my fucking life until recently. But we'll talk about it later. Look at that. Now, tell me you're not welling up.
That is actually beautiful. That is
it's so beautiful. I'm going to get the clip
really
the next
burying
show.
his head into Chewie's shoulder there.
Honestly, man, we're welling up. We've had a lot of emotion about Star Wars this week.
That's not a cuddle. That's a snuggle.
It's beautiful. I'm just going to leave it. I mean, that's the kind of thing you get in. This is the kind of quality you're getting in the show. Amongst the shit, there's stuff like that. So I'll dig that clip out for next time. We'll play that bit, and you'll love it. There won't be a dry eye in the room. Right then, so
beautiful description.
I'm welling up thinking about. I watched it this afternoon. You know. Right then, so he sends a Imperial message. We do that. Finds Lumpy, chased him down. We've done all that. There's another knock at the door. Is there? Yeah, and they think, what now? Chewie goes to the door. Shopkeeper.
That guy again.
He's back for his third time.
Stop trying to sleep with my wife.
He's a rubbish character. He's terrible. Right.
Sorry, how is Han and Chewie actually getting to their destination, not the end of this film?
Yeah. It doesn't
I know. No, it goes on. It goes on.
Well, it don't have an
nearly
end.
Finished. It's nearly finished. Right. So basically, we've got to account for the missing stormtrooper, obviously. That's why this dude turns back up. And the Imperials ring him and go, where's that trooper? And they give him a number, B4711. Don't mean jack shit, but they give him it. Missing trooper. And the shopkeeper goes, he just robbed us all and run off to the hills. That's what he says. And the Imperial officer on the other line goes, all right, fair enough. So they get away with it, right? Then he buggers off. So there's entrances and exits all the time, eating up your time in your 90 minutes here, right? Then Chewie stares uncomfortably too long, and it's not even as intimate as it was with Han Solo, right? And he gives her a bit of a kiss, and she's got loads of close-ups as Marley. I mean, your heart will melt when you watch it. Then they decide to go get these globes, to pick up these globes, and they walk to the middle of the room. And then there's this weird trippy bit where they all start heading towards light, holding them globes. And you can't tell if they're other Wookiees because they're so far away and the quality's so bad, but I assume they are. We're nearly done, don't worry. Then there's a massive group meeting with them all. All the main cast turn up at the foot of this big tree. There you go. Or it looks like a tree, but it's made out of paper mache, so you don't know. You can't tell what it is.
Has Chewbacca got a onesie on?
He's got a robe on, a red robe. They all wear them.
Oh,
Life Day robes.
Yeah.
So they'll probably after a figure from that. Chewbacca in his ceremonial Life Day robe, and they couldn't do it in time. Right, then they go there. They make some nice speeches, which I like. Carrie Fisher makes speech. Leia, she says something really nice. Then she sings a song to the main Star Wars theme. Don't work. Right, awful.
That's Saturday Night Live. Star Wars, forget all the creatures in there.
Yeah. Right. So then, they decide to end the show. Thank fuck. And they do the worst thing you could possibly do. You show how better the movie was as a montage of loads of scenes from so far. And you watch it going, yeah, that movie's amazing. This is terrible. And then it finishes off completely with them all sat around the Wookiee dinner table holding hands. And it cuts to the end credits, and you see the poor bastards who were involved with it. That's the end of the holiday special.
Wow. God.
Sorry that was so long, guys. I realise it went on ages.
Yeah, thanks for recommending that for us to watch this week, Chris. Yeah. So
hey, we've got somebody on Twitch has actually said it's. There you go. Liking it, good format. There you go.
Bless you. Thank you very, very much. It's very kind of you. If any of you have any comments about anything that we're talking about in the show, please feel free to comment and also give us likes and subscribes. And also go and visit our It's All Geek to Me YouTube channel where we've got last week's episode up. And feel free to comment on all our socials. We've got the It's All Geek to Me Facebook page and It's All Geek Twitter. So, or at It's All Geek Twit on Twitter, I should say. So, Nathan, what have you brought to the table this week for us to discuss? What recommendation have you got for us?
I've forgotten. I've lost the will to live. Jesus, you're going to put your 2-minute timer on for me?
No, we're not doing the timer.
We haven't got time for any more sections tonight.
Oh, no, we haven't got time for any more news. We'll catch you next week.
Just for the audience, we were working on hang on, no, just for the audience, we were working on the idea that it might be fun to give Nathan a 60-second or 2-minute timer to get his recommendation done this week. But after Chris's Star Wars special segment there,
how are them stones working out when you're throwing around and you got out?
So,
right, my recommendation of the week. Last week, just to remind you all, in case anybody's out there, I recommended His Dark Materials just simply because it's a good show that I think is well worthy of the Geek of being included in our Geek.
It's incredible.
Cornucopia. I don't know why I said that, but
I like that. Nice.
But yeah, it is the finale of season 2 tomorrow night. So do go on BBC iPlayer, for goodness sake. Get the books. They're brilliant. If you haven't read the books, start with them if you want. I mean, they're absolutely excellent.
And that's your 2 minutes.
The finale's tomorrow. That's last week's recommendation. This week's recommendation, I was asked to bring something Christmassy to the table, so I found a bit of a one that's got everything, if you like. It is very, very geeky. It's got like it's written by Grant Morrison, who, if you know your comic books, he's a genius, man. I mean, he's written the best Batman storylines. He's an absolute genius. And it's a comic book called Happy, which has been since made into a TV show, which is on Netflix, 2 seasons worth. I don't think they're doing a 3rd season because I think it's nicely wrapped up. Mm-hmm. But the reason it works for this show is this week's the Christmas episode, and it's set at Christmas. It's about a ex-cop turned hitman who is a piece of shit, basically, alcoholic, loser, doesn't have anybody, but he's hard as nails. You can't kill this guy. You just can't kill him. And it's all about the fact that one day in this really dirty, grimy sort of city world where it's prostitutes and drugs and greyness and darkness and all this horrible shit, one day a talking imaginary cartoon horse
unicorn
shows up to this grizzled old cop, and he thinks he's hallucinating, he thinks he's going crazy. So just to cut a long story short, he's not. It's a real animal, a real thing, and there's a whole reason why this horse has selected him to help him in a very real sort of mystery. And it's just absolutely excellent. So I recommended it to these boys. So I'll pass it over to those. See what you think there's any validation you want to recommend it? Is it up your street?
Well, I think it's the fact that you recommend something for us to watch, and we all agreed to watch one episode of it so we could talk about that first episode. And we do a sound check before we start the show and found out that actually Chris and I burnt through 3 or 4 episodes of that first season. It's just wonderful.
Yeah,
it's absolutely wonderful. It's got everything that I would want. It reminds me of things like Umbrella Academy and The Boys and things like that. But it's also got this really amazing sort of cute, childish element to it. I mean,
but it is a show where
it's gruesome.
It's gruesome. It's dark. It's horrendous, but it's also insanely funny.
It's charming.
Really,
it's charming.
Yeah, it is. It works really well. They've got that balance right. This Disney world, this Disney kind of cartoon horse, and this totally opposite force. And the villain in it is a paedophilic Santa Claus. So does it get more Christmassy than that? Does it?
Merry Christmas. So Chris, I was actually you watched one more episode of it than I did, and I was surprised because when I was watching it, I wasn't sure whether it would be your cup of tea. What did you think of it, and why did you rinse through so much of it?
Honestly, I loved it. I thought after you said about it, I must say I thought, I'll give it a go. And I watched the first episode, and as things are, you try and get into it a bit. And as it went on, I thought, this guy is brilliant. I love the actor. I thought he was. I don't know what else.
Incredible. He's amazing.
He is have you heard of that American? Is it Wet Hot American Summer on Netflix? He's in
I
that.
really thought it was a great role, like for somebody to get the teeth in, because he's just nuts all the way through it, and then flashback.
I think to explain what Lummy means about the main character, it's called Nick Saxon. Is this ex-cop? He walks he's got this way of moving that's just constantly like he's on something, or just the way, even the way he moves, the fact that he's hard as nails, and he's totally like on the edge of death at most points, either through his own drinking and heart attacks and stuff, or through the fact that everybody wants to kill him all the time. It's just, I'm really glad you guys.
I love the way it was filmed as well. Such clever use of camera movements and angles, and just different. I really enjoyed it, and it was up my street totally.
The opening scene, isn't there? Just the picture the opening. Very, very first time you see Nick Sachs, he's stood in front of a mirror in some sort of bar or a nightclub, and he blows his own brains out with his gun, and then does a dance sequence while the top of his head is removed, and all this blood is just gushing everywhere, and it's just great. Yeah. And if you think wait till the next season, they really do kick it up a notch.
So is the next season, I'm going to ask you that without any spoilers, is the next season Christmas as well, or is it a different?
It's been a while since I've seen it. I don't know if they actually wrap up the story in the first season or not. Maybe they took 2 seasons to wrap it up fully, because the Santa Claus paedophile guy who's kidnapping children isn't the only bad guy in it.
No,
there is a very, very sinister children's TV, like the most famous children's TV.
Whoa. Well, that's the character that we've been introduced to. I didn't know that he'd turn that way. So
he's a wrong one, isn't he? You can tell by looking at him. It's like an evil. It's not an evil. It's like a Justin Fletcher type. It's just as weird as everything else in the show, and it all runs. It all works and it runs together really well. I'm not sure how they managed it, but this is something about modern TV that I absolutely love. Is now we've got that. Don't take it away from me. Give me more of that. Give me more of the boys. Give me more Happy. Give me more stuff. I can take it. But
I'm certainly gonna watch the rest of it. I wanted to watch the rest of it today. I just run out of time because of the holiday special. I'd much rather watch this than all these special.
You had to write all them notes, buddy.
Yeah, man.
It took a few years.
So the holiday special is the gift that keeps on taking.
My notes will be available on audiobooks.
Anyway, so that's my recommendation for the week. I'll keep it in a nutshell this week.
I didn't put you pitched up. Sorry, Nath.
All right, it's all right. Just to give people an idea.
No, be good for people to see.
The comic book. If you're more of a comic book person than a TV person, it's just as good. It's really well drawn. It's Grant Morrison, and believe me, you do not get many better writers out there of comic books than Grant Morrison.
I'm going to get hold of the comic books to read them because, it's
just one. It's just one. You can get it as a one shot.
All right, I'll get it. I'll get hold of it.
It's just a one shot comic.
Those of you unfamiliar with Grant Morrison, a really good introduction to him. There are a couple of episodes of the Kevin Smith podcast where he talks to Grant Morrison, and actually, the guy is a genius, but such an interesting character with such an incredible life.
Genius isn't really the word for it. When you take so the reason that Grant Morrison sort of popped into my lexicon as somebody to look out for is the way. Look out for him describing a Batman comic that Alan Moore wrote in the 80s called The Killing Joke, which is one of the most famous Batman comics ever. You find out a little bit of backstory about the Joker in it. But particularly pay attention to the last 3 or 4 pages because that's Grant Morrison's point. And I'll give you a chance to read it yourselves and see if you can spot it. But it's a biggie. So Kevin Smith's sitting there chatting with him, and he points this thing out, and he's like, "Hang on a minute, I've read Killing Joke fucking hundreds of times. I've never seen that." And he goes back to, he's like, "Shit, you're right." So it's just things like he really is. He's got a very interesting mind.
But he talks about how he got into voodoo and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. He went traveling, he went tripping, and he went to Nepal. And he's a really, really interesting dude.
Yeah,
but he applied all that. He doesn't draw comics; he writes them, and he applied all that to the writing. He wrote Final Crisis, which is in the DC world is like the be all and end all of amazing, complicated storylines involving Superman and Batman and all these cross. It's just the guy's mind is really, really wasted on comic book writing in a way, you know. But yeah, he's a genius, really is.
Well, thank you very much, Nath, and we look forward to your recommendations next week. Oh, just coming back very quickly to his Dark Materials. Those of you who are fans of the show and have been watching it each week and are looking forward to tomorrow night's season finale.
Yeah, baby, bring it on.
Oh. It's going to be on at 7:10 on BBC One tomorrow night, not 8 o'clock. So just so you don't get stuck in any spoilers and things like that if you end up tuning in late. So my segment this week is I would like to do another best or worst segment. So as it's our Christmas festive holiday special, I would like to know what your best and worst Christmas movies are, and feel free to comment in the comment section below. Let us know what your best and worst Christmas movies are, and we are going to go to Chris first. Chris, what was your favorite ever Christmas film?
Right then, boys, my favorite ever Christmas film is do you want to guess?
I know what it is. I'll be surprised if it's not what I think it is.
Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it is Christmas Vacation. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah. This movie, I mean,
I've got some interesting bits for you on this because I saw something last night on YouTube about Christmas Vacation. They just delve right in there. And I wonder if you know this. Did you know they made a sequel?
Yeah. So
now, when I say sequel, it's a sequel not to the National Lampoon's Vacation series. It's a sequel to the Christmas Vacation. It's called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, and like none of the original cast. It's Uncle
Eddie's Island Adventure.
Adventure, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cousin Eddie's, sorry, not Uncle.
Cousin Eddie, yeah. That sounds.
Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. It's a TV movie. They made it for TV. It's terrible. But maybe you could do a 3-hour expose on it next week. Hey, if that's what people want, I'll do it. That's what tell us in the comments if you want that.
So what is it you like about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Lummy? What makes it your favorite ever Christmas movie?
Even though it's an American film and there's a lot of American kind of stuff in it, tradition-wise, I still think it's the ultimate Christmas film. It's everything that people go through at Christmas. You know, you've got the relatives coming that nobody wants. They're like, oh God, they're coming around, and one of them's going, yeah, I want them here. It's family Christmas, and that's the whole point of the film. He wants an old-fashioned family Christmas. But there's so many good gags in it. I mean, there's too many to go through. I'd have to write extensive notes and sit for an hour with you. But
don't do it. Don't do
which
it.
I just so happen I don't. But I just love it, and I laugh the stuff that makes me laugh all the time. There's a few things where I watch them, and no matter when, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's people getting hit in the face with stuff. But there's a bit where Chevy Chase opens the loft and the ladder just smacks him in the face.
Yeah. I know what it is. I think there's a common theme between a lot of stuff you like, and you often forget to mention his name. And I always think you should, because it's John Hughes. That's what you like. You like John Hughes, man. That's why you like National Lampoons, you like Uncle Buck, anything with John Candy in, Home Alone. This guy fucking wrote them all. You never even mentioned Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, and Ferris Bueller, which I know you love, but you hardly ever bring them up. But it's John Hughes that you love. That's what I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, I mean,
because he's got a way of filming stuff that just makes you go, oh. Do you know what I mean? Wow.
I'd be interested to know why people don't like the film if they don't like this film. Because, I mean, it starts off and they're in the car, obviously, driving along, and straight away they get you because they're singing a song, Clark and Ellen in the front, and the kids don't join in. He goes, take it, Russ, and he's just sat there going, he goes, la 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 la. I just love it. I love it. And then he gets stuck under the truck like dads in the cars, driving along going, I think I know I can take this guy. It's just got all that in it, and then, you know...
what I love about the National Lampoon's films is the kids change every movie. So one movie got Juliette Lewis and the kid from Breakfast Club in it, and in this one, it's Johnny Galecki, isn't it, out of The Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
When he's really little, like playing this Clark
This is Juliette Lewis in it, this one with him.
Oh, is it Juliette Lewis in this one? Yeah.
And the funny thing is,
the kids.
The one you mentioned, the Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure, they got the daughter out of the first Vacation movie in that one, playing herself, Audrey. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's weird. Dude, yeah. I'll link you that thing, Getting, so you can watch this behind the scenes of the National Lampoons.
Honestly, it's my favourite. I watch it every year, obviously, more than once. And
it's difficult because I absolutely adored all the National Lampoon's films, and then I watched that documentary about Community and found out what Chevy Chase is like.
Yeah.
And God, it really spoiled a lot of it for me. But that said, the new National Lampoon Vacation is a brilliant film, and they've managed to really get the spirit of the original National Lampoon's film.
It's almost exactly the same sentiment as the original films. It really, really works. I mean, I think it works better if you've seen the originals, because you know that he's his son, Chevy Chase's son, and they're in it at the end, aren't they? They go to see him. But yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, Chevy Chase, fuck him. I'm going to say it on record. Fuck Chevy Chase. He did his own damage by being an arsehole to everybody he ever worked with, and being one of the most shallow pieces of shit, famously hard to work with, ever since he left Saturday Night Live in the late 70s. And he went, I'm going to go conquer Hollywood. And Hollywood went, no, you're not. You're going to make a few films and then you're going to do fuck all for a very long time. But he made his own bed. Fuck Chevy Chase. Sorry, mate. I love the movie.
I love the movie.
It's not good.
We've got a couple of comments. I'm just looking on here. Somebody said, Elf. Disgrace. Should have been Elf. But it's also thought this is quite this is a good point. We're doing films out, we're not TV, but that is something I don't know about you guys.
We talked about it with specials, doing like Christmas specials.
Yeah. Knowing you, it's brilliant.
Oh, it is brilliant.
Maybe after we do as movies, we could have a quick chat about what specials you quickly watch.
Because
there's loads. I mean, I've got, me with Christmas, guys. I've got a folder where I just have everything ready for Christmas to watch.
I feel a bit bad about giving it to Chevy Chase now. I hope you're not watching Chevy Chase. You know what I mean. You know what
he's watching. He watches everything where it mentions Christmas Vacation.
Okay, so that is your favorite Christmas movie, Chris. What is your worst Christmas movie? The one that you would resign to the bin every year?
Right, I had a bit of a criteria for this one because there's so many bad ones. I mean, all those TV movies they make all the time, they're all terrible pretty much out there. I didn't want to pick any of them. I thought I want to pick something, and I've got a few, but I wanted to narrow it down. I picked something that's got lead actors in, A-listers who I like, but I don't like in the film. That was my criteria for this. So I've got this one. It's called Deck the Halls with Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito.
That was a close contender for mine as well, man. It's a bloody shocker.
I've never seen this film.
Right, this film is about basically Danny DeVito moves into the area and he wants to do his house up with Christmas lights, and Matthew Broderick's like kind of the king of Christmas in this small town, right? But Danny DeVito's starting to get along with everybody. He claims the title. But there's something about the movie for me, it does not work at all. There's no chemistry between anybody. There's no jokes. It's not funny. None of it lands. Any of it's weird. And I wanted to like it so much. It's just like, I like Danny DeVito.
It's not your fault. I know you love
It is my fault.
I know you love Danny DeVito. It's not your fault. They made a bad film.
Yeah, they made a shitty film, Chris. Don't blame yourself.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
Roderick's not likable in it.
You tell everybody that you like it. If you feel that bad about it, so yeah, all right, I like it. It's fine.
No, I can't do it.
Yeah, it's shit. You're right. It is. It's really, really bad. The lack of chemistry, the lack of warmth. You're right. I saw it recently, a couple of years ago, as I was going through, because I do what everybody else does, and I put the same 6 or 7 Christmas movies on every year, and I thought I'm going to change it up a bit, try something different.
Yeah,
and it doesn't always work. Those 7 films you watch every year are your favourites for a reason.
Yeah, keep it that way. Don't go dipping anywhere else.
No.
Speaking of which, so go on, Chris. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, I mean, I'm sure all of us love Home Alone, but you've got to kind of
have to have a break. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I watched that one again this year without even thinking for a second about how violent it is, because I put it on for my 3-year-old son just to see what he thought. I thought, see what he thinks. He loved the bit where the bad guys were getting the shit knocked out of them by the kid. I mean, he really did. A little bit
inspirational.
A little bit too much. I thought, he's making plans, this guy. I've seen his battle plans in his bedroom.
He's got blueprint.
Drawing pins on the stairs. Yeah. Salt in the coffee. No, sugar.
Do you guys, do you have your films that you won't play until a certain date as well? Do you do that? Or is that just me and I've just...
I used to be a bit stricter than I am now, actually. I couldn't give a toss anymore. Just put what I want.
I started watching Christmas film-wise?
Yeah.
I started watching 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah,
I watch them, but I get all the lesser titles out of the way first, and then I save the biggies.
See, it's my first Christmas with my girlfriend, so we actually went in.
A girlfriend.
Faces.
She's got a podcast like everyone else has.
No, because she's not a man and she's not middle-aged. That's why she doesn't have a podcast. But she and
Lummy can hook her up. He's giving podcasts away like they're made out of.
Podcast for you, podcast for everybody.
All you need is a log line. All you need is a log line for a show, and you got your show. I'm like the world's crappiest no budget producer ever. I can produce your show for no budget. Just come at me with a show title. You've got it.
Kid, you want a podcast?
But no, we went in hard with the Christmas movies. And we hit the big hitters first. So we did Home Alone. Actually, was the first one that we did this year. Nathan, what is your favorite Christmas movie and why?
Don't get me wrong. I love the good Christmas movies, like anybody else. I love them, but I just cannot beat Muppets Christmas Carol. You can't beat it.
Oh.
Try and beat it. You can't. Right, let me talk a little bit about this. A couple of reasons I think this film is particularly special is the first thing the Muppets did as a company after Jim Henson died. So it was the first time we hadn't heard Kermit with his real voice, and his son took over the role, which is quite a touching thing to do, and I imagine pretty daunting. I mean, the guy was probably beside himself most of the time. Like, Jim Henson was a really sweet guy by all accounts. Everything I've ever read says what a nice guy he was, and all he ever wanted to do was bring a bit of warmth to the world. And I think he succeeded, really. I mean, Disney took over then and kind of shagged the Muppets a bit and made it a bit crap. But Muppets Christmas Carol, first film after Jim Henson's death. It's a nice little footnote to him. It shouldn't work, but it works. And one of the things that I think is a testament to this movie is the fact that it's got original songs in it, original Christmas songs. That might be default because the film's been out for 30 years, which is why I feel like I know these songs so well, but they're almost good enough to be Christmas songs. Do you know what I mean? They actually really work. It's sweet. It's funny. It's got Muppets in it. What more could you want?
Cool.
Actually, yeah, I love Muppets Christmas Carol.
Michael Caine, that's what more you could want, and he's in it.
Yeah,
so
he is. Yeah, if you want that, you'll be an happy person. He's in it. Yeah,
no, I agree with you. It's a great
Scrooge as well. He's a good Scrooge.
Yeah, it's not bad. And even when he's singing and it's really bad,
I love the end song. I play it all the time. That one that he does. With a thankful heart and a dead joy with a ground with every girl and boy. Yeah,
you know the words. Sing it. Sing it all.
I don't know all of
it. Jesus.
What's the one that Kermit sings? What's the one that Kermit sings in it when he's sliding downhill?
It's the season to be jolly and no, that's not it, is it? That's the one he sings with his on the shoulder, and that's just
there's
brilliant.
magic in the air. There's even magic in the air.
It's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
It's a good song.
It really does work. Makes me feel very Christmassy. Which is in it.
That's a good point.
I've chosen other ones that would have been a little obvious, but yeah, that's my favorite of all time.
Okay, and what is the Christmas movie that makes you feel all Grinchy? What is your worst Christmas film ever?
The worst Christmas film. I actually nearly chose Deck the Halls. I didn't know what you guys were going to pick, but my worst Christmas film, I will never watch it again. To be fair, I don't think I made it to the end because you could figure out that it was shite 20 minutes in. And it's the same problem that Deck the Halls has got. Lack of warmth, lack of story, lack of chemistry, everything. And it's Fred Claus with Vince Vaughn and Oscar-winning actor Paul Giamatti. It's just inexplicably shit. The premise of the film is so shit. I mean, you can get it from the poster itself. Santa Claus has got an annoying brother. And not only is he annoying, he's fucking Vince Vaughn. Like, oh, it's bad. It's real bad. So sorry if there's any Fred Claus lovers out there, but you're morons.
Oh my God, that's strong words.
That's how I feel. I feel strongly about it. I can't help it.
You feel stronger than that about Chevy Chase, I take it.
Don't bring Chevy Chase up. You know what you did, Chevy. You son of a bitch.
Wow. I mean, I've seen it a couple of times, this film, and I obviously don't have the vengeance you do for it, but yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I'm not Vince Vaughn for me. He's great in some stuff, and then other stuff is a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There are just some Christmas movies though where you can just look at the title, look at the DVD cover or the poster, and just be like, you know what, that's not for me, and you know straight away you don't need to watch the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
have you seen? There's a Vince Vaughn film, a Christmas film, with Reese Witherspoon in.
It was on TV the other day, and we watched it. And I tell you what, it was better than Fred Claus.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of that lampoony sentiment, that film.
Yeah, and it's got Favreau in it as well.
Yeah, Jon Favreau, Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon, Robert Duvall's in.
It's called Four Christmases.
Steve Bergen.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of famous people in it. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's about a couple that are really, really happy with their life, and then they get drawn into what they should be doing. Oh, we should be having babies and blah, 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 blah. And then, they go to 4 different Christmases with a bunch of pricks, and by the end of it, they want to split up. But then they realize it's Christmas, so they won't get any presents if they split up. So they just don't split up. It's all right, though, to be fair.
That's the real spirit of Christmas right there. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite Christmas movie is...
Nobody asked.
Oh, well, it's my segment. I'm bringing it to the table.
I don't know which one came out first. Was it Four Christmases first and then Fred Claus? I'd like to believe it was Four Christmases first because Vince Vaughn went, I got this. I can do fucking Christmas movies. Piss easy. What you got? Fred Claus? No problem.
It's like Tim Allen. What came first?
God.
Christmas with the Cranks or the Santa Claus trilogy?
I think they just like that Christmas dollar, don't they? Even when a Christmas film's bad, people still watch it. They still get that Christmas buck.
Hallmark Channel, they've got 50 fucking movies a day about Christmas on it.
Oh, they're always called something like 7 Wishes for Christmas or something like that, aren't they? Yeah.
Christmas bells, jingle balls, snow day, snow avalanche, Christmas avalanche, Christmas snow. They've got them all. And just type anything and it comes up with a movie. There's none left, no titles left.
I think Jingle Balls is a different kind of movie.
Bond can't bring anything else out now. They've all gone. So you'll be pleased. Sorry, Rich.
There's always sequels. You go Christmas Balls 2.
Yeah.
Baubles as well. Christmas Baubles. See, that's the third one. There we go. No, my favorite Christmas film is a fairly recent Christmas film, actually. And it's slightly alternative, I guess. And it kind of encompasses lots of Christmas stories into one film. And it is called The Night Before. And it's a Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, there we are, and Anthony Mackie. And it's just a really fun film. Seth Rogen plays a soon-to-be dad. His wife is pregnant, and he's kind of got it all down with regards to his future as a father. And he's got his 2 best friends, and they've been doing the same Christmas Eve every single year because one of those 2 best friends, his family died in a horrific accident. And so they decided they're going to spend Christmas Eve together as like a family, and they go and do these various sort of activities that they do every year and they have done for years. And they're trying to get into this really elite sort of magical party that they've got no hope of getting into. And because they get into that certain age now and Seth Rogen's supposed to be a dad soon, they've decided this is going to be the last year that they do this sort of lads Christmas Eve thing. And they just so happen to be able to get tickets to this Yule Ball as well. And it's just a really fun film. It's kind of got I know it's a bit of a stoner sort of Christmas film, but it's way more than that. Have you seen it, Lummy?
I have seen it. I literally watched it the other night because I'd never seen it.
Did you like it?
I imagine it's not Chris's cup of tea.
Do you know what? I kind of half and half. I actually thought this doesn't. I felt like the Christmas was actually shoehorned in. If I'm honest.
Interesting. Really?
I like my Christmas films to be full on Christmas. I thought you could have set that at any time. It wouldn't have really mattered.
Apart from the fact that it's all about the nostalgia of Christmas, and he lost his family at Christmas, and Christmas is that special time where you need to be with people, and he finds himself, with the prospect of being alone. And I tell you why this film actually rings a bell to me. It's because, not that I was in the same situation at all or anything like that, but I've been spending a lot of Christmases in the past with Nathan and with Webby and his family. And it was kind of, just had a kid and stuff like that. And it felt like, maybe this is going to be the last Christmas I come and spend with you guys, because, you're a family now. And it was exactly the same time that this film came out. So it's kind of like, it struck a chord with me.
That makes sense, because I was when you said it was your favorite Christmas movie, I thought this means something to you then, because to me it wasn't one that even if I liked it quite a lot, I probably won't watch it again very quickly. Do you know what I mean?
What I kind of like about it is the fact that everybody in it is what they usually do. So Seth Rogen doesn't really change much from what he usually does in a film. And
does he ever?
It's a Christmas film, but it actually acknowledges the fact that adults exist and they still have Christmas and they have different things. A lot of people I know, used to know, partake in certain things over Christmas, and that's what these guys do. They end up getting off their faces, and it's kind of
Seth Rogen does. The other two don't.
It's weird because you've said it was your favorite one, and we obviously knew what were coming up. I think I thought it was going to be more than it was to me in a way. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I can't wait for
looking at the two of you right here. It totally makes sense why it hits home with one of you and not with the other.
I'll tell you what, it was. There's all the drug stuff and all that, which different people find different stuff like that funny and that. But
see, I didn't find that funny though, Lummy, because when they do people doing drugs in a movie, they always do it the fucking same.
Yeah.
You don't have to take every drug on the planet to get off your face. You could just take one or two.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it had that element of, that was the bit of the film that I didn't really dig so much was...
See, that's the bit I did like, because it was the fact that he hadn't done this stuff for absolutely ages, and basically his wife had bought him, because he'd been such an amazing husband, she'd bought him this little, on Craigslist, this little stash of drugs, and it was full of all these quite hardcore drugs.
Every drug.
And all the quantities are out of kilter, and he's just trying to sort of reset his equilibrium because he's freaking out about becoming a dad.
I get that. I'll tell you one thing I were disappointed with the film. Do you know when they went to the piano bit?
I knew you wanted to play big.
Yeah, but they set it up like that. They did the exact same actions of what they're doing big. They took the things up, threw them to the side. In big, they threw the bags up there. I thought they're going to play chopsticks. It's going to be a big...
That's the point of the joke.
Yeah, but it wasn't a joke. It was like... And then they played that
every year, and people are expecting that bit out of big. And then they play, what is it, some Snoop Dogg song or something?
So that's the point of it. So they keep referencing lots of other films. So there's the Home Alone gags in there as well. There's the Die Hard thing where she falls off the building and does the Hans Gruber thing. But it's not just because of the sentimental thing. I just thought I'd recommend it because I could have recommended Home Alone or Elf, which are brilliant films, and will always, I'll watch them every single year, but this was just a slightly alternative Christmas film. It was brilliantly done. I thought it was brilliantly well done.
I like it. I think I'm sort of in the middle of you two. I think
it's also got a Christmas Carol in there as well with the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Oh yeah, I like that guy. Was good. I liked that. I did like that. Yeah. No, you're right. It's good to bring different stuff to the table as well, because we could all sit here and go Home Alone. Everybody looked at to bring some a little bit more,
But my worst film, and this might be a bit controversial for some people, because I know it's really, really loved, and everyone loves Dudley Moore as well. But I hate Santa Claus the movie.
It's shite. It's shite. It wasn't even good in the 80s when we saw it. We just thought it was because it had Santa in it, and we were kids. It's shit.
And Dudley Moore is charming and cheeky and, you know.
Slightly charming. He's not overly charming or overly funny or overly interesting. It's a piece of shit film. And the kids in it don't deserve a good Christmas.
I like it.
Okay. Well, the reason I hate it is because my godparents, their daughter, who I was sort of friends with as a kid, she was a lot older than I was, and she married a guy who was a sort of bit part actor sort of stuff. But what I found, he was an extra in lots of films things, and so I'd been told that he was an elf in Santa Claus the movie. Right. And so every time Dudley Moore came on the screen, I was like, "That's not him." Yeah, thanks, Dan. I agree. Yeah. And every time I could never find him in the film. That's the thing, because there are thousands of elves in there, and I could never find him in the film. And it's like really for somebody, for an actor that's not actually done that much, to just cite a load of films they could be in. I'm in Gladiator. I'm in the crowd in the fucking Colosseum. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm there. Actually, there were a lot of extras who were reeling off Gladiator as one of the films that they'd been in, and like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and stuff like that. It's like, but there were thousands of people.
Contention here. I just want to point out, right, that at one point, my brother, who just commented about Santa Claus the movie, didn't hate that film quite as much because he bought the fucking novelization of it in the 80s. I remember you bought the book, Dan, so suck that. Boom. So
yeah, Dan.
Santa Claus,
you're not the only one who's got it, Dan.
Yeah, on Lummy's bedside.
I've got the novelization to Home Alone 1 and 2, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Why?
Who knows? Because I'll tell you why. I know why. Do you want to know why? Do you really want to know why? Do you want to know why? You can't handle the truth. Right. I'll tell you why. Because there were always deleted stuff in the novelizations of films, so I always got the novelization to see what was out.
So now Home Alone 3 was going to be my worst movie that I was going to suggest, because 1 and 2 was so brilliant and 3 was just such a piece of dog shit that it's like, it's a real, you up?
Is it set at Christmas, the third one?
Yeah. It got a cinema release in the UK. I was working at cinema when it came out, and it's about no, not for that. No, I only buy the good ones that I want to know more about. Santa Claus the movie, clearly. It was about a radio controlled car, and I think they had some jewels inside it, and it got to the house.
Yeah,
sounds shit.
Anyway, that is all we've got for talking about our best and worst Christmas movies. This is a mammoth show tonight. So, ladies and it is a Christmas special. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to be doing now is we're going to be going to our Mandalorian review.
Hang on. Can I just step in? Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Well, we're not going to just quickly say TV specials we like.
Okay, yeah. Go on then.
Go on.
Partridge has been mentioned. Father Ted Christmas special, 100%.
Nice. Nathan?
Mr. Bean Christmas special.
You're only allowed one. Nathan?
He's got more. Let him go. I can't think of a single one off the top of my head, like on the spot. I didn't write any down.
Blackadder's Christmas Carol.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I'm out.
Brilliantly done. That's probably...
Go on.
That's a high up in my estimation. I'll tell you what is good, and they did it every season, obviously, but most of the American Office Christmas specials have got something about them as well. They've definitely gone for that.
Good
decent.
Shout.
Yeah. I love that. Love that show.
Stephen Coogan's been mentioned, and it's not really a Christmas special, but it aired at Christmas, and it is the Tony Farino phenomenon. That was brilliant. I loved it. That was a good Christmas.
God, I hope we've got some old people watching this show, because nobody under 20 is going to know what the hell we're talking about half the time.
Yeah, but they might go find out, Nath.
They might be, I've got to find that. Where's the nearest library? Let me go lend Santa Claus the movie and Home Alone 2, the novelization.
I'm going to do a live reading of Home Alone 2, the novelization.
I'm tuning in.
Listen to watch those numbers fly when I do that. You'll be sorry. It's the new show.
I will be sorry.
Set me a Patreon account for all those.
18 hours long.
Oh my Lord! Right,
Red is Ian McKellen.
Okay, speaking of 18 hours long, before this show becomes too much longer, we are going to be moving on to our review of The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 8, Chapter 16. So those of you who have not yet seen the last episode of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, this is probably your time to tune out and join us for our standalone review of The Mandalorian on our YouTube channel, which will be out in a couple of days. So get yourself off. Watch that last episode. It's brilliant. And then come back to our YouTube channel and we've got a standalone episode that will be sat there waiting just for you. So spoilers, big old juicy spoilers. Gents, The Mandalorian.
Can I just say, let's not jump the gun too much. Let's do it one step at a time. Pace yourselves. Keep it calm.
Nathan, who nearly dropped a massive spoiler during the Star Wars Holiday Special review. I was like, no, dude.
Shit.
Hey, that's the dude who's in it. Whoa.
Mandalorian episode, the last one started. Pew, pew. Pew. Exactly how it started. Pew, pew, pew.
Amazing.
There you go.
I feel like I'm there.
Who needs £100,000 worth of CGI?
I mean, I've got a still from the start. Here we go, look. I mean, your Lego demonstration is miles better than that.
Exactly.
Right. Favreau and Filoni could learn a few things from you.
I mean, this is one of my favourite Star Wars ships ever. Sometimes known as Shuttle Tyridium from Return of the Jedi, but it's actually a landing craft from the Imperial side. In Return of the Jedi, the steel one. So they could sneak down.
Is it a Lambard shuttle? I think it's called.
Yeah, it's a landing class shuttle. And so, this one has always been one of my favourites, and it was so cool to see it pop up in The Mandalorian this week, man. I was like, yeah, it's a good one.
I mean, as if they had to give us any more stuff. You know what I mean? They're just spoiling the fuck out of us now.
This episode was pure fan service. It was just, I mean, let's get into it. So, who's going to start us off with the review? Where do we start off?
Let's just piece it together as we go. So,
Nathan, what happened at the start of The Mandalorian?
So start The Mandalorian this week. Boba Fett and the other guys are in Slave One, chasing down some Imperials, one of the landing crafts. Oh, look, there's a picture. To basically steal the landing craft. The point being, they want to infiltrate the ship where they know Grogu is being held by Moff Gideon, which is it's not a Star Destroyer, is it? I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a bit like a Star Destroyer. It's a cruiser.
Yeah.
You know, Imperial cruiser. Yeah. Conveniently, all of the Dark Troopers are all on there together at the same time. You know, lots of exposition in this one. For example, learning that. Did you guys catch the line where they're on about the Darksaber and Bo-Katan says, I really need to get that back. It's in a beautiful, amazing sword, and, you know, it's mine and it should be mine, and it cuts through anything apart from Beskar.
Yeah, but we knew that anyway.
It was a bit heavy on the exposition, this one, but
but it would be a bit rubbish to have a Mandalorian weapon that cuts through. Like if you drop it on your toe or something, it just slices your foot off when you've got this amazing armor. You say no, it would be a bit of a design fault to maybe have it, you know, fuck up your own indestructible armor.
Right.
Yeah. So
they go after. So they capture the shuttle. Yeah. They've got the scientist on there, the clone scientist that we met a few times now. I don't know his name. Did you get his name? I don't know.
I can't remember his name, but they're working really hard in this series to throw up the conundrum that maybe the rebellion weren't all good and that there were lots of problems with it. They are working really, really, really hard to sort of cloud, you know, the audience's judgment of whether they were probably good guys.
I mean, that's what's going on now with with the Conservatives trying to work you really hard to make you feel like we're not bastards.
I did clever. That is a nod to modern politics, where they've kind of. I know Chris doesn't like to be political, but it is something about the show whether you felt it was as well, Nate.
It's not just
I don't mind
modern
being political. It's quite interesting.
So they're trying to steal the ship. I know the officer puts up a bit of a fight. He shoots his own man and he takes the scientist hostage. to be able to try and sort of get the upper hand in this situation. And then he starts really provoking. What's her name?
Cara Dune.
He starts really provoking her, talking about the tear.
Lonely. Yeah, what a prick.
He was an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, in that kind of a situation, you won't provoke somebody, really, would you? You won't start.
I did wonder what his end game was in that situation.
Yeah.
A lot of people there, he's completely outgunned. Okay, he's got his hostage there, but really, how is he going to get out of this? What is he gaining by poking the bear? You know,
you've got to suspend a lot of belief in a Star Wars scenarios. We've talked often before about things like this because in that scenario, if you look at where they were, right, those two guys were in front of the cockpit of the ship. Everybody's got blasters pointing at each other. One wrong shot going through the fucking hull of the ship or through the glass, suck everybody out. And you know what I mean? So they don't really address stuff like that. They're just like, let's not talk about that.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, we spent a lot of time in that cockpit there. What happens at the end? It's like
she shoots him. She shoots the
guy. She shoots him. That's it.
He broke some and everyone's just like,
ship. They steal the landing craft, and then.
So we got. That's where that was before the credits, wasn't it? Then you got
the so it's chapter 16.
The rescue, and then so basically they engineer a plan. Mando goes down to this planet that Lummy's showing you right now to find the 3 Mandalorians who've turned into 2 inexplicably. They just got rid of the bloke without mentioning it.
I wondered that.
And I think it's honestly, I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound weird at all, but I think it really is to push the fact that there were a lot of females on the crew, and it's all about, girl power and women save the day, because they just inexplicably got rid of that French guy who was in the.
Well, weirdly, I didn't really think...
He got deported back to France. I was trying to think of a Star Wars sounding planet that could be France.
So they, I didn't think much about that until later on when they're actually on the mission, and I actually don't think they shoved it in our faces too much. I think it worked really well, but I think huge credit should go to Sasha Banks, WWE wrestler, who played the sort of plucky.
I have got images of these things, but I thought we were going in order. So do you want me to hang on?
Kind of in order, isn't it?
Wait a minute, then. Let me pull some.
So yeah, Mando and Boba Fett walk into this bar like 2 fucking cowboys, and then they. There's a bit of there's some classic space bants in this one, man. They just made up all sorts of space shit, just like slagging each other off in space language. I wrote some of it down. So at one point, they're having an argument, and because Boba Fett's in the Mandalorian armor, but they're like, "You're no Mandalorian." Boba Fett goes, "I never said I was a Mandalorian." Pretty much like he's saying, "Who wants to be a Mandalorian?" So
with Chris Tarrant.
Like Chris Tarrant, who wants to be a Mandalorian.
So they're trading like really crap insults. Like she says, "You'll be looking through the window of a Bacta tank," and you're like, "Oh,
Jesus!"
Fighting talk. So there is, and they have a fight.
And this is like I said, this is a. It's played by Sasha Banks, the WWE wrestler, who I think is cousins with Snoop Dogg, actually. And
just know that for a fact.
No, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, I thought she was brilliant in this. And they had a cool little
bar fight. Little tight little bar fight.
That's exactly it. A bar fight with sort of Mando weapons. It was great.
It was like a hotel bar fight, a mini bar.
Oh fucking hell!
Oh God! Says,
we got a Star Wars geek. He's just arrived.
Nice to see you.
Hello, Barry. We see him have a little scuffle. Bo-Katan says, "Stop dicking around," and then they all get on the ship to go rescue. But they've got a plan. They take the 2 ships, the landing craft and the slave one, and they've got a plan to go to the star cruiser. Boba Fett's on Slave One, firing
Hang on, let's have a look.
He's pretending to shoot at the landing craft as they approach the Star Cruiser.
Actually, can I interrupt a sec? Nathan,
hang on,
you've gone really way too far. So basically, the scientist that they've kidnapped, there he is there. He inexplicably decides to give them loads of really useful information about...
A bit more exposition.
Yeah, exactly. About the Dark Troopers, about where they're kept on the ship, how long it takes for them to be activated.
There you go, this is it.
How long it takes them to charge up, and all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, you kind of get the impression actually he's quite fond of Grogu. I think I don't know. I just kind of got the feeling that he wasn't as evil as. I don't think it was just because he was caught either.
He's a man of science, isn't he? He just wants probably to know what. I mean, look at all the experimentation that these doctors used to do. They might not have all been.
What's he called? Galen Erso from Rogue Squadron, a reluctant Imperial. You know what I mean? He seems a bit like, oh, yeah.
Actually, that's Rogue One, Nathan. Rogue One.
What did I say?
Rogue Squadron. We're Squadron.
Oh, sorry. It's a
Slave 2 incident, isn't it?
We don't want another one of them messes. Did you look at your Lego box, by the way? Why don't you turn around behind you, get your Lego box out and see what the Boba Fett ship's called?
Guys, if you are still watching this, God help you. But
people are watching it. People want to know.
This last week for these two dickheads.
I don't think they need to. Because... No. Whoa. Just go and watch last week's episode. It's there on our YouTube channel. No. Right. So they get all this help from the scientist, and he's given lots of information about how they can enact their plan. And then, absolutely, this kick-ass plans. And I didn't really get what was happening at the start. I was quite slow picking up actually how their plan was going to work. And it was Boba Fett in Slave One chasing down this Imperial ship.
I've got an image here. Now, have a look at this here.
That's beautiful. How amazing is that?
Right. I'm not sure if any other Star Wars film has had two things going through hyperspace at the same time.
I don't think they have either.
Because when it came up, and it showed him, and then
if you did that, you'd smash each other to pieces or something. Yeah. Again, let's not get bogged down in the science of things. And they do it, don't they? Because in Rise of Skywalker, he's hopping through time holes, and they're following him through it because they've got the technology.
You don't get a shot like this.
It's not like that.
That's beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah, but it's cool. Yeah,
I'd have that on my wall. You know what I mean?
I know you would.
So basically, the Mandalorians in the Imperial ship that they've captured are radioing through to the Imperial cruiser, saying that they're under attack, and can they open one of the bay doors?
Let us in.
So open one of the bay doors, allow us to get in. And Moff Gideon, he smells a rat, and instead he sends out a load of TIE fighters instead, which they don't. I don't think they're targeting that.
I thought he sent the TIE fighters out to help the landing craft. I don't think he necessarily, maybe he did, but I don't think he necessarily started smelling the rat until a little later.
I don't know.
A really nice touch was where it does come in, and it's still coming. It's clearly not going to turn away and deviate from its track. It does come into the ship, and they're pulling TIE fighters out, and that guy goes,
yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool.
I loved seeing practicalities of it. Yeah,
I loved seeing all that. The good thing about this entire show is they're showing you behind the scenes, if you like, of the main action. I love all that. So all the business of showing how the TIE fighters, the pilots getting in and going out and launching. You know, you've never seen a TIE fighter launch unless it's in a video game.
It reminds me of that. It reminds me of that scene in Clerks where they're talking about the Death Star, and the guy's going, but all of the builders and all of the workmen that were working on that ship, they're just innocent victims in this. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, there's loads of people going about their jobs, not realizing that they're doing this work for this evil empire, and suddenly they all died on. You know, I like that.
Yeah, but the point of that story is where the guy says, "Are you talking about Star Wars?" And he goes, "Yeah." And the guy in the shop goes, "Well, let me tell you something. I've got a mate. He's a roofer. This guy took a job for the mafia, and he got killed while he was on the job. He knew what the fuck he risks were. So he's got a point there." But just going back a little bit, what the other thing that causes the guy who was driving the landing cruiser, the two pilots that got shot in the beginning. One of the reasons it winds him up, because when he's talking about Alderaan, he says, "I was on the Death Star. I saw it blow up." And
yeah.
He turns around and goes, "Which one?"
Yeah, that was a brilliant line. Yeah, you're right. That was a really good.
How are you on, dickhead? The one that blew up or the one that blew up? You know, I thought it was a great line.
But
really
I disagree with you. I think it clearly shows Moff Gideon making the decision, like weighing up and smelling a rat, and then go right no
very quickly
because that's the point. That's the point that because they're in the ship, then go no, open the doors, and they go no, fly around for a bit, fly around a bit more.
Rich. They're not shooting at the landing cruiser, are they? They're shooting at Boba Fett. They shoot at Boba Fett. They don't shoot a single shot. They don't even start shooting behind Slave One.
Of course, because it's a ballsy move to shoot at your own ship when you only smell a rat. But the point being is that, of course they're going to shoot at Slave One and not shoot at their own ship because they don't know for sure. But
so Boba Fett
just open the landing things and the whole thing be over. You know, let the cruiser shoot Slave One out the sky, out the galaxy, and let this ship in through the bay door. That would have been the logical thing, which is what they were banking on.
They end up landing on the ship. They make a bit of a sketchy landing, but they land in. Boba Fett goes, right, job done.
That's a great landing as well. It looks brilliant. That ship flying.
This is off into hyperspace, and we don't see him for the rest of the episode. We'll tell you why later on. We've got a little theory behind that.
I've got a shot here of one of the Dark Troopers close up there, you know.
So they hatched this plan. They hatched this plan that the four women are going to go and work as a distraction because they're aware that the Dark Troopers are going to be called upon to come and fight them off. So the four women go and they get all the attention. They got all guns blazing. It's absolutely brilliant. So that Mando can sneak off and go and find Grogu himself, unwatched, as it were, and that's another great little fight. I mean, this is the point where I'm like, these women are absolutely kick-ass, and I don't feel like they're ramming it down the throat. This is all absolutely I'm not saying you were. I'm not saying you were, but I think there will be people out there that will kind of assume that because you've got these four, that it's unbelievable, and I just thought it worked brilliantly.
Possibly, but we're talking about Star Wars. The ability for people to piss and moan about what they wanted in it. We've all done it. We've all watched Star Wars and gone, well, why did they do what I wanted? Me.
Yeah, I get that.
Others have done it to the point where we've fallen out with the franchise big time. You know what I'm talking about, Lummy.
Oh yeah. We talked about it last week with Last Jedi, didn't we? You know, all that.
Yeah, it's nice to be in an age where there are too many positives happening in the world of Star Wars for most people to deny, and it's drawn us back in. It's good. Yeah. So
there's a great little fight on this walkway where the two Mandalorians sort of fly off either side. Stormtroopers are falling off this walkway, falling through out into the galaxy, out into space, and then the two other women get sort of cornered by Stormtroopers, and it's great when the two Mandalorian fighters just come up and just shoot the shit out of them. It's awesome, really, really good. So they're hunting around the ship. One gets a gun jammed as well, and they're kind of working on trying to. That was the one bit that did pull me out a little bit. That she's trying to unjam her gun while they're in this really tight enclosed lift. Did you not see that? It's like that. If that gun goes off, you're all dead.
We said about gun jams last week, though, didn't we? And we realised about the power packs, and
Yeah, she ended up smash her gun on the floor.
I asked if they run out of bullets and what to do with the gun jamming and such. And you guys pointed out that for the first time in the previous episode, that there was mention of them running out of a power pack or something.
Yeah.
But
so Mandalorian goes off to try and find Grogu.
Yeah. He encounters the your droids. He tries to get the door shut just in time, but one gets through.
What's happening is he's having this kick-ass fight with the Dark Trooper, and it's a brilliant fight. And I think they really managed to show the stakes of how this guy that we've seen pretty much be able to kick the crap out of anything in both series suddenly encounters this robot, this droid. We find out that the third generation as well, don't we? That they've gotten rid of any human kind of entity within them, and I really think it sets up how tough these Dark Troopers and it's a kick-ass fight that he has with him. It's awesome. And all the time he's trying to he ends up, I don't know if you've got a slide of this, he ends up going and managed to flip the hatch just before all of the Dark Troopers come through, the whole squadron.
I've not got the only still I've got of that fight is that bit.
Okay.
Just because I've spent all my stills at the end of the thing, obviously. I went a bit still crazy. I was like,
well, on the holiday special. So they
all these years.
You what? Yeah,
still crazy after all these years.
Yeah. I had to delete all my holiday special pictures earlier in the background while you were doing all that. Too many.
So Mando managed to pull a lever that opens up the bay doors, and all of the Dark Troopers, they get sort of sucked out into space. And then he goes and finds Grogu, who's got Moff Gideon stood above him with, now that saber is awesome. And he stood there threatening to kill Grogu. And then he pulls a fast one with Mando, doesn't he? He says, look, I got everything I wanted from him. All I wanted was his blood. So you take him and you leave me the hell alone. And we never talk about this again. So Mando kind of goes over and it's sort of
inexplicable reason. He could have just left it there, but he's so evil that he couldn't help himself. It was so weird. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just like
maybe Adam finished with Grogu. Maybe he'd not finished with him, and he just said that so he could have a swipe at him.
Oh, I think that's entirely the point. That he wanted to wait till Mando's back was turned, and then he could try and strike him.
Because he might have had some blood out in all that time he's had him. He could have had as much blood as he wanted out of him. He could have had him up to machine.
And then another absolutely kick-ass fight between Mando and Moff Gideon, and it's brilliant. I was surprised at how strong Moff Gideon was, but he talks about the weapon giving people powers, and that it's actually a Mandalorian weapon, and it gives the holder special powers. So there is an amazing fight between Moff Gideon and Mando, and he does this amazing kind of kickback thing to flick his staff. That was brilliant. It was absolutely awesome. I choreograph fights for a living, and that was a really beautiful piece of choreography. I really appreciated it. It was
not for TV and theatre, just as it on the street. It's like, right, you stand there.
Bar fights.
With this brush, and he kicks you in the balls.
But it was brilliant. So then we see we go back to the bridge where the other four have kind of taken down all the enemies, and Mando turns up with a little Grogu in his arms and Moff Gideon.
Right. Just on a note of you just saying about the killing everybody. If you like seeing stormtroopers get shot and get nacked, you're gonna love this episode. I honestly don't remember seeing this many.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
In a Star Wars thing ever.
But the action in this episode is great.
Yeah, it was like awesome.
Yeah,
they pulled out all the stops.
Yeah, absolutely. Now there's a really interesting point of suspense when Mando walks into the room carrying what's it called? It's not called a dark saber, is it?
Dark saber, yeah.
Dark saber. When he's carrying that, so what's that moment of tension that we see?
The moment of tension is Bo-Katan going, hang on a minute, he's got my sword, and I can only get my sword back by fighting him.
Which we didn't know, because she kept saying, I want to take Moff Gideon. I want to take Moff Gideon. He's mine. He's mine. It's like, okay, fair enough. You've got some sort of grudge with him.
And then we find out why.
Him to be on the bridge. She's expecting him to be on the bridge, and that's where she's going to take him out. She doesn't expect him to pull a sort of the switcheroo and end up being down with Grogu. And then you see Mando coming in with
she didn't expect him to go and guard the precious cargo on the
that they were there trying to get. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a flaw in her logic.
She shouldn't really be a leader, really, should she? I've got an idea. We'll go fight him, but we'll sneak round back.
And that's kind of where we find this out, because we see we see Moff Gideon start laughing. And he basically tells Mando that that the only way you can take that weapon is by beating the person in a fight. And he's like, yeah, just take it. Don't worry. Just have it.
I thought that was really good, that bit.
It's great. I loved it. And it shows that he's a man of his word and that he isn't that bothered about.
And also, he says the lines, the power's in the story, not in the blade.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
very, very Star Warsy, isn't it? Just clarify, I don't think we see him give her it though. We didn't see him give her the saber.
No, he offers it to her. He offers it.
He offers it, but she doesn't take it. So as far as we know, when the episode ends, he's still got it. We think.
Yeah, but no, he has. That's the whole point. He's offering it to her, and she's like, I can't take it. I can't take it. And Moff Gideon starts laughing, and then the Dark Troopers. We hear on the computer that there's something on the radar, and all the Dark Troopers come flying straight back into the ship, and there are tons of them, and they're pounding on this big, thick door to the bridge. And Moff Gideon's sort of like, "Yeah, this is funny. Not a chance. You guys are going to survive this. You struggled against one,
and they wouldn't have done.
The whole platoon.
They wouldn't have done.
Oh man, they were absolute kick-ass. They
they wouldn't have survived it. I don't think. Had what happens next not happened, they would have been.
That's the thing. So they're beating away at this door, and they're all stood there with their guns pointed, and then suddenly we hear the radar.
I know. You see Moff Gideon sneakily hide a blaster under his cape.
I missed that. I missed that. Okay.
Yeah. There's a blaster on the floor, and he hides it under his cape, and then he uses it later, doesn't he?
Yeah. But I didn't see where he got it from. And then you hear the radar go again, and you see an X-wing turn up. Now,
there you go.
Now, gents, before we say who was in, did you know who was in it at this point?
Of course I did.
I wasn't sure. I thought that they were going to just pull a fast one on us. I thought they were going to be like, yeah, come on, guys. So much fan service.
It was a sneaky reveal in a way. They tried to be sneaky, but you knew who it is. First clue is as it's flying in, if you're really keen-eyed, you can see R2 on the top of the ship. That's R2. There's no mistaking it. So, and then as the Jedi gets off the X-wing, he walks through the ship.
I've got images. There you go.
Decimating the Dark Troopers.
You see a green.
What you got to remember as well, just going back, is we learned in this episode that the thing that was a fault in the Stormtrooper design was the people inside the suit. Moff Gideon is the one guy who decided to take that element out and use droids. So he made them all droids. Now, that's a mistake because anybody that knows anything knows that Jedi's cut through droids like they're made out of butter. Like
battle droids.
Fucks them up.
Battle droids.
He just went through them all. And it was beautifully done. And as he's doing it, first thing is you see
hang on, I've got stills. So here you go. This is the first shot we saw.
Oh my god. That's what I'm thinking right there. Then it keeps going, and you see a black glove. And like, oh my god, black glove. It's got to be. But maybe not. Maybe it's not.
No, it is.
Did anyone else think it was very similar to the Darth Vader scene walking through in the latest? Yeah.
But I think that was a little tip of the hat to that, to be honest.
Yeah. No.
He goes through chopping everybody a bit.
Oh, God, it was beautiful.
You see the good thing is that one as well from the inside. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, beautifully done.
Yeah. All this. You've seen all the force powers. I mean,
so it crushes the last one, and then he's right through the blast doors. Smoke clears. And who do we see?
Now, one thing I was quite pleased about was because they had battered the hell out of those doors, and I was like, "There's no way those doors are sliding open because they're all bent out of shape." But they actually, fair play, they only opened, and I really appreciated that. Yeah. And then we see him. There he is. It's Luke Skywalker, and it's original Luke Skywalker. I mean, I know there's been a lot of kickback from a lot of the fans, because Star Wars.
Why wouldn't it be Star Wars?
Yeah, but what did you guys think of this incarnation of Luke Skywalker and the special effects? Because it did not bother me in the slightest.
Right, I'll tell you what I thought. I didn't give a fuck because even if it had been animation or clay or whatever they did it in, it's still amazing.
Yeah.
Just some bloke holding a picture up of Luke's face.
Don't matter. We've been waiting for this version of Luke Skywalker for how long? For people who grew up watching the films, I remember going to see Return of the Jedi with my brother and my mate. We went, and that was the third film, and we saw all three in one go at the cinema. And you've been waiting for this to see Luke in action for all this time. And we were robbed from the new films because they didn't show us it. All it had took was one film to do that.
Yeah, but they've had to make you believe that a fat old man can be Luke Skywalker. They'd have had to play Luke Skywalker completely different instead of relying on sword play against Kylo Ren.
Yeah, but all right.
Well, didn't they? They showed him using his mind and what he'd learned.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Let me tell you this then. What about Obi-Wan in episode 4 then? Why not do it like that? You know, and then at least we're getting something. But I'm on about if this hadn't come out now. You know what I mean?
Chris, he died.
No, but I mean, you know, he was a Jedi. He had a bit of a battle. At least we saw Obi-Wan as he were.
And get beaten. But
have you seen those guys that
we don't get beaten. I mean, the fucking concept of it.
Guys, have you seen that video of that original Darth Vader and Luke and Obi-Wan battle that's been re-edited?
Yeah.
It's amazing what they did.
Amazing.
With the principles of modern.
So what I mean is, they could have done something, you know, instead of having him on an island going, "I'm not a Jedi anymore," and throwing lightsaber behind his back. That's all I'm saying. So this is for it's obviously for the fans, but I was so pleased as everybody else was. You watched it on Friday or wherever you watched it and went, "Oh my God."
Yeah,
done it.
And R2 as well.
I was just about to say that was the icing on the cake because you think we've got Luke, he's doing his Jedi stuff. Everybody wanted to see it.
That was awesome, but also then you've got to watch Mandalorian and Grogu say goodbye to each other.
Yeah,
who knew that were going to be so beautifully done?
Perfect.
I was praying actually that the show would never get to this point because I love their relationship so much and. It was really beautiful.
I've got stills. Right, look, I've got stills of this. Look.
So Mando takes his helmet off to say goodbye to
He takes his helmet off because Grogu requests it. He touches his helmet and he's saying, "It's time to see your face, man," and look you in the eye. And that was just beautiful.
And he touched his face, and Mando almost winces when he feels another living creature touch his face, but he kind of succumbs to it, and it's just beautiful. Do
you know the only thing I thought with the helmet reveal? I wish they hadn't done it in the last episode.
Yeah. That was a bit of a wasted opportunity.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I think it'd have been more important.
I agree.
It was still great. It was still lovely what they did with it. But I think it would have been a bit more impactful if, you know, because it's like I'll take it off for Holt, really.
Yeah.
On a chocolate bar.
The only thing I thought was missing, and this is just something it's not even a niggle, really. It's just they could have shown this. They could have shown what a lightsaber is like against the dark saber at some point. Because why am I bothered?
We'll do it eventually.
About a dark saber? I've heard that dark sabers can cut through anything, but does that include? Is it a superior weapon to the lightsaber? I have no idea. I don't know.
I don't think that matters for where
you're going to find out, though. I mean, this bit here where. He walks up to R2.
Yeah. So right before that, Grogu was holding on to the Mando's leg, and he was like, "I don't want to go." And and Mando's like, "No, you need to go because you need to get trained." And Luke was like, "Look, untrained, he's got amazing powers, but untrained is dangerous, and we need to kind of train him up." So then Grogu turns around, and R2-D2 kind of have this little chat, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, you're my kind." Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting because R2 has been around a bit. He was in the Phantom Menace. He was in the Clone Wars era. So, did he recognize Grogu from the Jedi Temple? Did he know him? Has he seen him before? Is that why they just had a bit of banter? I
don't think because Yoda was mostly. Hang on, let's think about this because that's a really good question, Nathan. I don't know where R2 was when all this stuff were going on. He wasn't in the Jedi Council chambers, were it all? So, but they'll be milling about, won't they? Where he's about, you know.
It's interesting,
that is interesting.
So it raises a couple of things. By the end of the show, you're left thinking, well, where can they take the Mandalorian? Is my biggest question for the next couple of seasons, which we know they're greenlit, we know they're happening. So that has to you have to figure that out. You have to go back and listen to what happened a few episodes ago, round about episode 3, when he first meets the other Mandalorians. She says to him, "Look, I'll help you on your quest to get this kid, but then you got a promise to help me." And with him being a Mandalorian, he can't just go back on his promise. And his promise to help her go sort the mess out of Mandalore. and do his best to get her into power. So
it felt like it really did feel like the end. This one, though, you're like, wow.
Yeah. What we do know is that from this point onwards, it just gets progressively worse. The rebellion, or the alliance, falls apart. The rebellion get weaker, and the new order starts to, So we're in for like 10 years of, 10 Star Wars years of things getting really, really.
If they aren't leading to that, they could have explained it all away by saying all these Jedis were trained at Luke's temple, and that's what happened in episode, before episode 7.
We know that cloning technology has massively declined in the 60 years between episode 1, where they cloned everybody, and then trying to make Snoke out of somebody's blood.
That was always my issue with the prequels, though, that the technology was far superior than it was in yeah.
Well, that's a discussion for another day, because to discover that R2-D2, your favorite robot who you've seen in hundreds of films, has got jet boosters he's got them in like Attack of the Clones to come out of his legs and make him fly. He can fly, but he can't fly in the modern, in our trilogy.
Look at that lightsaber. It's a lightsaber at both ends. That's really dangerous. Like, you could stabby backwards and forwards, and then
you really have to be a badass to use Darth Maul's lightsaber, don't you? Yeah.
Let's. I've got another couple of stills from this episode here. That one that's where Grogu goes to lift with, and then I was amazed they just ended it with this.
Yeah.
Door shut, bam, done.
Yeah. It was perfect though. It was perfect. So I watched this episode after the two of you, and I knew something big was going to happen, because both you kept bugging me all day, texting me going, "Have you seen it yet?" And so I was like, "Okay, well, something fairly major is going to happen in this episode." And then Nathan was like, "Just make sure you stay on after the credits."
That's because of Lummy. Lummy told me about it.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, he was watching it with his missus, and
she told me though. I'd switched. I was ready with something else, and it was still on the TV. And she said, "Look," and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I'd missed it."
And it's incredible.
She said, "Look, Lummy, don't put that DVD of Santa Claus the movie in just yet."
I was like, "No, it's on. We've done Star Wars now."
Give me cuddly duddly any day. But yeah, so we then see. Yeah, we see. Well, what do we see?
We see this.
Okay. Credits roll. Boom. Jabba's
we see that.
Palace. As if you hadn't finished jizzing in your pants yet.
You go from this.
Yeah.
You go from that.
Yeah.
To this.
Yeah. And then straight away you're like, first question is, how much time we got, man? What's going to happen now?
Yeah.
And then
it's quite a long post-credit scene as well.
It's a little bit more awesome.
Yeah.
So
you see you go in, and here we go, Bib Fortuna.
I love the fact that Bib Fortuna's become a Hutt, and he's put loads of weight on.
I know, that's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Some people did say, did he survive the Salak pit? But I don't think he were on the sail barge, if I remember correctly. But
I think he is. I think I remember him talking to Jabba on it. I
don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
He was never dealt with. It was a bit of a villain, wasn't he? So you'd think that they showed him get offed, but I don't think he was.
So we also see that
almost like they always knew.
He is a Hutt. He's become a Hutt because he's speaking Huttese. He's sitting on the throne. He's got the people from the old crew there.
All his slave
instead of Luke Skywalker coming down the stairs to knock them all, we hear a few blaster shots. Boba Fett comes down the stairs with his bird, his missus.
I put that up a bit early, but
yeah. And he comes down the stairs, he shoots everybody, and he goes and sits on Jabba's throne. And I realised something, guys. I realised something. Right. This came to me. Every episode of The Mandalorian is a chapter, right? Mm-hmm. Chapter 1. We're on chapter 16 is what we just finished, yeah? Mm. And then this ends, shows you that little credit sequence, opens up with the book of Boba Fett. I don't think Boba Fett necessarily is going to be in his own spin-off. I think they're going to direct The Mandalorian and use chapters from Boba Fett's story. It's the book of Boba Fett in the Mandalorian story. Do you know what I mean? So that's
that's interesting. I've been looking at, I think, because I was unsure whether that meant that this is the end of the Mandalorian series, and we're going to go now to a Boba Fett series spin-off. But a lot of the commentators that I've been listening to over the last sort of 24 hours have all been adamant that there's going to be a spin-off, a Book of Boba series, and season 3 of The Mandalorian.
I'm not saying they're not. Maybe they are going to be, but I'm just saying they could. If they're viewing everything as chapters, basically what everything we're going to see in this Star Wars extended universe with TV shows is all going to be chapters of a massive Star Wars book. But I say, let's just get back to the story, right? So why is Boba Fett going to sit in Jabba's? Does he want to be the prince of all the bad guys, Lummy? Does he want to be is he taking over the crime syndicate?
So yeah, this is why I was wondering whether it makes whether we're now going to see.
Because if it does, now we know that Moff Gideon is still around, but temporarily disabled because he's got no robots anymore and he's been knocked on his ass a few times. Who is the bad guy going to be? Maybe there is going to be some kind of, and I'm still not saying I'm right, but I still feel like Mando could make his way towards Slave One as a vessel at some point. If they do make Boba Fett like the bad guy of the new series, and it turns out that Mando, their deal is over. You know, Boba Fett's a very cutthroat kind of guy, isn't he? You know what I mean? He doesn't care if he's working for the Imperials or working for the Rebels. It's all about the coin. It's all about how much money he's getting. He's a bounty hunter. So he's helped him out, shot off into hyperspace and left him to it. Didn't help him out with any of the other shit. Not bothered about that. Job's done. Deal's over. I'm finished with that. Is he going to be Mando's new enemy?
Well, it's interesting you say that because I thought we'd had it established in the last few episodes that he was a Mandalorian. And then, like we talked about earlier on, where it's like, you're not Mandalorian. He's like, never said I was.
No, his dad was a Mandalorian.
That's another thing we learned in this. That, again, they reminded us that Boba Fett's a clone. So yeah, I mean, still pretty impressive career for a clone.
Do you know what
all the rest of the clones died, and he was the one who went off on his own adventures.
Do you know what it'd have been interesting if Boba Fett had still be with them when they all did this heist, and then Luke turns up, he'd be like, "That was not Savage, you bastard! You're not me in Pit. Oh no, it was Solo, not you in Pit. Where's he? I want a word with him."
Yeah, he's the only one that Luke would have known out of all of them. Because that was the thing. The thing I was like, why don't all of these people know who Luke Skywalker is?
Well, actually,
go on.
Right. So you've got to think about this. The galaxy is a massive place. And some people said about this before with some of the early episodes of The Mandalorian. They said, how come people don't know who this is and who that is? And it's like, they call it the outer rim territory, don't they? In the far regions of all this stuff. I don't know, ins and outs. But word doesn't spread around the galaxy like it could. You know, even with the technology and everything.
They need some of that lucky FaceTime technology from the holiday special, I think.
It does exist because we've seen it in the holiday special.
No, but what I mean is, there's a lot of rumors and that, because even in Force Awakens, if you go that, they don't know that Jedis are real and stuff in that film because they say to Han Solo, I thought it was just a myth, Luke Skywalker and all that, and he goes, no, it's all real.
Yeah, but that is like 30 years later, whereas this is like
30 years later, though, Lummy Gittins. We haven't forgotten who the Nazis were.
No. Hear me out. Okay. You're proving my point because we're like a year, 2 years max after Luke Skywalker managed to sort of defeat the Empire, who was ruling the entire galaxy. Are you really saying that they don't know who the victor was, the champion was? It just surprised me. That was all.
I mean,
yeah, you're right in a way because they acknowledge it a few times in the series to make sure that we are in a world where they haven't forgotten who Luke Skywalker is, because they show you the Death Star blowing up, don't they, on that holotape in the middle of that bar in an episode. You're right. There is some sort of ambiguity about who the Jedi is going to be, but I think that's purely a storytelling device to try and make you think. Like I said to Lummy, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet here, but I said to you weeks ago, if you think about it, it has to be Luke. Luke has to come back. There are no more Jedis. Ahsoka was a Jedi, but she quit the practice and left, right? And there's only Luke. He was the only Jedi. And Leia, sorry, which we found out in The Rise of the Skywalker, she was going to be a Jedi. Yeah, but she never finished the training. So you know it's got to be Luke. So they throw you off the scent quite a few times by like, oh, who could it be? And she says, there are other Jedi out there, but it's left as a plural. It sounds like it's a plural. Even the episode itself was called The Jedi. Well, no, it was called Jedi, wasn't it? It wasn't called The Jedi.
Yeah, well,
to try and throw you off.
It was called The Jedi.
Sorry, trying to throw you off the scent. It has to be, you know, they were really clever. They nearly, you know, they could have plucked anyone out of the Star Wars lore, but it had to.
Don't forget as well, these guys in charge, you know, Favreau and Filoni, they'll know what they're doing. They've thought about all this stuff. They've planned it, unlike the films that came out where they didn't plan them. Apparently, I don't know if I told you guys this, but apparently there's something leaked online. There's a episode 8 treatment by J.J. Abrams, what he was going to do with the film. And they
heard about that, yeah.
Right, I've read a bit
about The Rise of the Skywalker, Rich, a couple of months ago, or maybe a year or so ago, they released the proper script, the actual...
Oh, no, that was it. Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm on about Last Jedi.
No, Nathan's correcting me, not you.
Oh, right, sorry, right. But apparently, the reason why Luke was on the island in episode 8 was because it was like a conduit for the Force, basically. It was so powerful in the Force, you could control things from the island, right? And he was controlling Rey all the way through episode 7. That's why she was so good at the Force. And then the dark side had a place as well that they were battling, and he was controlling Snoke. So... good idea, great idea, really. And Luke had a family on the island and all this stuff. So people are trying to work out if this is real, this thing, because apparently somebody in an office grabbed it off a table and went, I'll photocopy this. You're like, you won't leave that. Yeah, you won't leave that laying around.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a good idea anyway. So that might be worth discussing if we can find that in future episodes.
I'd love to do a reading of it if we can. I know we'll probably get sued, but we should just act it. We should do it.
Okay, well, in which case, Chris, is there anything else you want to mention about The Mandalorian?
Not about The Mandalorian. No, I think we covered it well. Just I think they did a cracking job. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wonderful. We are going to do another episode where, because The Mandalorian has finished now, we will do a summing up of this season of The Mandalorian, and we will have our predictions for where the series may go in season 3. Do we have any other business, gentlemen, before we finish up for the evening? Nathan, is there anything that you would like to mention?
Not right now. My brain's gone a bit. But yeah, what an amazing show. If you haven't seen The Mandalorian yet, but somehow you're still watching this, go watch it. It's brilliant. They really are knocking it out of the park. The thing I will say about Luke's face, going back that, what we're thinking about the way he looks, is it weirdly enough, it sticks out more because everything else in the show is so perfect and meticulously done. So I think when we get over the fact that we've just seen Luke Skywalker and it's been amazing, I think we're going to be going, yeah, that is a bit, they could do better. And I bet you in a couple of weeks you see them videos on YouTube and they've re-deep faked it and it looks way better.
They'll be out now, don't kid yourself. Yeah. We've done them already.
Yeah. How about you, Chris? Yeah. Any other business, Chris, before we finish up the show?
Can I plug something? Or
yeah, of course you can.
Plug your mouth.
So, all right, I've got some shows this week then. So Monday night, we've got prequel, sequel, requel, doing Rich's worst film, Santa Claus the movie.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, we are, yeah. So that's on Monday night, 8 o'clock, prequel, sequel, requel. These guys have been on it before, bit of a daft show. We have to come up with a prequel, sequel, requel for Santa Claus the movie with a panel. Tuesday night, I've got a radio show called What's the Score, where I play score music usually, but this week it's a Christmas special. That's on Box Office Radio, 8 o'clock, and I need people to request songs. Nate did one earlier. I'll get one off you, Rich, as well. Anything you like, Christmas, it's going to be a big bumper. He's not bothered. Bumper episode. Then Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, I'm going to do a script reading of The Empire Strikes Back. So I'm going to do my impressions on there. So Star Wars fans, obviously, one for you. We're going to do a speed read of that. It's called Speedrun Cinema. Do a different film every time. It's a new format show. I'm going to try doing The Empire Strikes Back. So there you go.
Contrary to what you might be believing, audience, Lummy does actually have a girlfriend. He does.
Yeah.
He does. He really does. Why are we laughing? He does.
Yeah, stop laughing.
She's
everything's online. It's not a problem, is it, to online shows?
That's absolutely fine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in which case, please go and subscribe and like our YouTube channel. It's All Geek to Me. You can find us on Facebook. It's All Geek to Me. And we are at It's All Geek Twit over on that there Twitter. We are going to be back next week, either with a pre-recorded show or a live show, so that we know that there's going to be a lot of people, in light of the recent news, there's going to be a lot of people spending next weekend by themselves. And
got a quick message there for you as well.
Oh, Barry, happy Christmas to you too. Happy Christmas, guys. Barry, it's been a pleasure having you join us. Thank you so much for your lovely comments. And please feel free to leave a comment in the description below and join us next week.